University of Central Florida respectfully acknowledges that it's located on the traditional lands of the Ais, Appalachee, Calusa, Timucua, and Tocobago tribes, as well as the Seminole Tribe of Florida and the Miccosukee Tribe of Indians of Florida. Roll call and verification of quorum. Chair Gaudio.
Luke Paul,
Present.
Anna Reed,
Present.
Olivia Smith,
Present.
Angelia Varchis, Christopher Corelli. Oh, right. Gabriel Casimiro. James Kapanos.
Present.
JC Lin.
Present.
Sahasra Sadvika. Jonah Scott.
That's present.
Ni Chow.
Present.
Blake Barnes. Owen Sherman.
Present.
Danae Smith.
Present.
Arwa Ali.
Present.
Melvadi.
Present.
Jason Hamid.
Present.
Ryan Kaufman.
Present.
Nicholas Lucht. Jordan Metellus.
Present.
Kai Prohl.
Present.
Peter Rocasa.
Present.
Samuel Rose.
Present.
Grace Rudy. Daisy Trejo Hernandez.
Present.
Terry Fawcett. Nathan Rickett.
Present.
Before I go any further, could I make a request that the volume be raised? For the Zoom, thank you. Thank you. Kushi Chauhan. Bobby Escobar.
Present.
Ibrahim Nassim.
Present.
Rose Rodriguez. Katrina Wanjan.
Present.
Ella Weiderberg.
Present.
Orson Green.
Present.
Diana Wynn. Anthony Bonaventure. Veronica Perez.
Present.
Lima Alcuda.
Present.
El Banesh.
Present.
Jocelyn Candeloro.
Present.
Kirsten Courts.
Present.
Victoria Jones.
Present.
Angelique Leon.
Present.
Abigail Matthews.
Present.
Isabella McRae.
Present.
Ruthie Nushamadevra.
Present.
Cameron Renda.
Present.
Mariah Simmons.
Present.
Mila Tudorescu.
Present.
Juan Varela. Present. Julia Zivin.
Present.
Jordan Lipner.
Present.
43 out of 54.
All right, everyone take a look at last meeting's minutes, and is there a motion to approve last meeting's minutes?
So moved.
And then take a look at today's agenda. Is there a motion to approve today's agenda? Okay, perfect. Open forum. Anybody here wishing to speak in open forum? Seeing none. Announcements from the student body president given by Chief of Staff Pearson.
Hi guys, hi Senate. Be patient with me. I'm plenty people today. So, hi Senate. I hope you all have had a fantastic week. My apologies for not being able to attend tonight's meeting. This week, Vice President Benitez, Attorney General Altoona, and I had the honor of attending the U.S. Police Department swearing-in ceremony for our new Chief of Police, Dr. Robin Griffin Kitzrow. Chief Kitzrow has been an astounding role model to me and countless others. Her leadership has always been inspiring. It is empowering to see many women have leadership positions, and for her to become the first Dr. Chief shows her dedication to not only the UCF community, but also shows that a lifelong commitment to education and growth is something always worth working towards. In addition, Vice President Benitez and I held productive meetings with Homecoming, Parking and Transportation Services, Student Care Services, and the Recreation and Wellness Center to begin planning for this year's Midnight 5K.
Chief Staff Pearson, sorry to interrupt, but that's last week's agenda.
Right. You know, that's really great. This is great. I appreciate that. We're getting it pulled up. I got it now. Sorry about that, guys. Okay. Good evening, Senate. I apologize I couldn't be here. I'm currently at the celebration for Provost Johnson. Before I begin, I'd like to ask that we take a brief moment of silence in honor of the communities in Texas currently facing devastating floods. Our thoughts are with all of those affected. I also want to give a heartfelt shout out to the incredible students from Texas Tech University who are joining us this evening. It was a truly an honor to spend the day with you, showing you around campus, learning more about your campus, and the impactful work you're doing in your community. Thank you for being such beautiful or such thoughtful, engaging guests. You guys are also beautiful. We're genuinely excited about the possibilities of working together in the future and continuing to support one another's in our shared mission of student advocacy. Wishing you all a productive night at our Student Body Senate. Thank you.
Any questions? Seeing none, announcements from the Vice President, also given by Chief of Staff Pearson.
I'm going to make sure I have them right this time, guys, I promise. Hello, Senate. We're currently at Provost Johnson's retirement celebration now. This week, we had various meetings with such as Military and Student Success Center, Office of Fraternity and Sorority Life, the UCF Bookstore Management, and Dr. Muniz with HSI, Hispanic Serving Institution. I want to give a special shout out to the Chief of Staff Pearson for coordinating our eventful day with Texas Tech today. TTU is in the back currently. Hey guys. Hope they had an amazing day learning about our beautiful campus.
Any questions? Seeing none, thank you. Comptroller's report, Comptroller Drinkwater.
Good evening, Senators. I hope you're all doing great. First, I want to give a warm welcome to Texas Tech for being here today. It's a pleasure to have you here, and I hope you enjoyed the day so far. I wanted to start off by giving you a brief overview of my role. The Student Government Comptroller is responsible for overseeing how the entire campus spends the $19 million activity and service fee budget, which is funded by students and supports things like events, programs, and services across campus. This role works closely with all branches of student government, as well as registered student organizations and campus departments, to review purchase requests, manage budgets, and make sure all spending is responsible, transparent, and directly benefits the student body. All of the OPS guidelines for both the legislative and executive branches have been signed and uploaded into Teams. The judicial branch is still in the process of signing their guidelines. Also, the entire executive branch is on track to complete their financial training by tomorrow. The current CRT balance is $505,000 and $22.34 with a reversion rate of 0.00%. And the FAO balance has $252,088.42 with a reversion rate of 1.37%.
Any questions for the Comptroller? Seeing none, thank you. AG report,
Thank
Attorney
you.
General Altoona.
Good evening, everyone. First of all, I wanted to give a huge shout out and a warm welcome to our visitors from Texas Tech University. We're genuinely honored to have all of you with us tonight. This week, I coordinated with Vice President Benitez and uploaded the official minutes for the Agency and Department Strategic Planning Board, and the webmasters did give me a tentative date of July 23rd, so that'll be up on the website, and I'll make sure to follow up with you all. I'll also be meeting with Senate Pro Tem Hamid next week to begin building out a framework to translate the statutes into Spanish, and as well as coordinating a meeting with Hispanic Serving Institution Office. This is a project that I'm genuinely excited about, so we can expand accessibility of our statutes to Spanish-speaking students. Additionally, Senate Bill 5702 has now been fully updated in the statutes and is also posted on the student government website, and I'm continuing to refine my legal opinion regarding Title 12 as well as Sunshine Law. Thank you.
Any questions for the AG? Seeing none, thank you. Chief of Staff report, Chief of Staff Pearson.
It's been forever since I've seen you guys. I promise I have the right report because I got it this time. Okay. Hi, Senate. I hope everyone's doing well. Today we had an amazing time hosting our awesome visitors from Texas Tech SGA. It was a full day of fun, connecting and showing them the place we proudly call home. I have some exciting announcements regarding SG Welcome Week, aka SG Takeoff, which will take place from August 25th through the 29th. So mark your calendars. I'll also be sending out, what are those things? Calendar invites. Cool. August 25th through the 29th. Each branch will have a designated day to conduct outreach and engage with the student body. On Monday, August 25th, the judicial branch will kick things off. Tuesday, August 26th will be the executive branches day, featuring a brand new event called Brunch with the Branches, and it will be an open house style event held in our SG office, offering students a casual and welcoming opportunity to learn more about what we do. Wednesday, August 27th, will feature our big pep rally for athletics with a ball on the mall. Well, it's not really on the mall. We're getting the location situated. Event where we'll partner with our athletics teams, and our athletics coordinator can tell you guys a little bit more about that eventually. And just to bring forth that school spirit that we all love, Thursday, August 28th is all about the game day festivities, which are not like in our wheelhouse. Well, it's just like on the calendar. So go game day. Then on Friday, August 29th, we'll wrap up the week with Senate's Day. Whoop, whoop. And I'm excited to share that thanks to Speaker Courts, it will be called Slime with the Senators, or is it Stickers with the Senators now? Okay, it's lit. It's Stickers with the Senators. It's going to be a fun and memorable way to connect with your students and build visibility for the legislative branch. Also, throughout that week and just in general in the upcoming weeks, we'll be heavily marketing the SGLC program to encourage more student involvement. Additionally, we'll be tabling at the Housing Palooza, not Palooza, event to promote SGLC and connect with incoming and returning students. And last but not least, let's bring the energy and make connections and ensure SG Welcome Week / AKA Takeoff Week is one to remember. That's all I got.
Any questions for the Chief of Staff? Seeing none, thank you. Deputy Chief of Staff Laliotis, sorry.
Good evening, Senate. I've had a busy and productive month since the last time we spoke. I had a wonderful time meeting with student leaders from the downtown, Lake Nona, and Rosen campuses, and I look forward to a great year working with them. Additionally, I met with members of the Career Center for the Work Where You Learn Fair, so mark your calendars, it's September 3rd. I also coordinated a successful luncheon with university faculty and admin, allowing our cabinet to interact with them and discuss all collaborative goals for the year. And following that, I organized some cabinet trainings and preparations. Some of these preparations did include a full inventory of the cage and organizing the supplies. So thank you to Chief of Staff Pearson and Comptroller Drinkwater for all of your amazing help. And lastly, I've been in communication with applicants who have applied for open Senate seats, and I will begin interviews next week.
Any questions for the Deputy Chief of Staff? Seeing none, thank you. Director of Student Affairs, Director Berthune.
Happy Thursday, Senate. So I've been spending some time this past month working on additional resources for my division, including a newly completed event deadline calculator spreadsheet, which has been super helpful. Additionally, I'm also in the early stages planning Winter Wonderland, which I'm really excited for. I'll be working closely alongside our campus activities board, late nights, and night-thon to create an unforgettable event. As mentioned in my initial proposal, a significant goal of mine is to improve event accessibility. I've recently received an event accessibility checklist from Student Accessibility Services to kind of serve as a baseline, but I would love the opportunity to hear from you all regarding any ideas or improvements you may have to really improve the event and really ensure that we have it as accessible as possible. So some examples of improvements I'm excited to implement are like ADA compliant pathways on the grass, low stimulation zones, and vision impairment friendly lighting and signage. As always, please don't hesitate to reach out to me via email. I'm always happy to hear new ideas, and thank you.
Any questions for the Director of Student Affairs? Seeing none, thank you. Director of Communications, Director Ayat.
Give me a second. Let me get situated. Okay. All right, my Senate sweethearts, how's everyone doing? Go like this if we're doing good. Okay. Oh, some of us are doing good. Some of us need a therapy sesh with the justices. All right, so I am super happy to report. I had my first introductory meeting with Speaker Courts and External Legislative Assistant Reed. It went super well. We made some great work organizing kind of a holistic plan for what cross-branch collaboration should look like in terms of a communication kind of standpoint. Some of the things we talked about, I know they'll kind of go in a little bit deeper into that when they give their announcements, but we want to increase activity on our lesser performing platforms like LinkedIn. So if you don't already follow us on LinkedIn, I encourage you to link us to your profile, like show us in your experience, and then also just kind of stay tuned because I want to utilize that platform to post any open seats that we have, but also a lot of, SG Agents alumni that are super successful in the real world right now are following our page. And I think it's a great way to gain exposure by posting highlights of like really high achieving SG agents. So that's something that I'm super excited about. We also talked about increasing activity on our Facebook. So we try to keep in mind kind of the target demographic that primarily uses Facebook and how we can cater messaging to them directly. Our top performing platform, Instagram, we increased our reach by 55.5%. So that's, you guys, this is great. This is great. It's really helping to kind of broaden our scope. Let's see what I wrote right here. Our reels. Okay, so our reels are helping broaden our scope the most because they're our top performing medium through our Instagram. So let me see. I have the statistics right here. Okay, so hold on. What did I write down? Okay, so for people that don't follow the Instagram, out of all of our content, the reels specifically is what's reaching those people. So for the people that do follow our Instagram, the stories, what we post on our stories, what is seen most by them. And then for the people that don't follow us, they're seeing the reels the most, and that's by 72.6%. So reels and videos are king right now. If you have really important information that you want to put out to the student body, definitely consider putting it as a video format. You can talk with ELA Read about how we can do that. It does take more manpower and more work, but if it's executed well, it'll work out for us in the long run. So these metrics are really good. They're a really great starting point for the year. So we'll definitely keep this in mind as we move forward and produce more content for our Instagram. And then I also want to mention that, like I said, there's a system being put in place, and primarily your communications liaison will be ELA Read. But if you have any ideas for anything fun that you want to put on Instagram, other than like events and informational materials, like I know we talked about doing like a welcome week, welcome back to school, like in August for students, like just anything fun and lighthearted. I would love to sprinkle that in to kind of break up our informational, more serious information that we put in our messaging. So that's all of our socials. Another thing that I want to talk with you all about this evening is in regard to our signage. So if you think about the SG office, you know that kind of like where the computers are, there's 3 big posters. One of them kind of gives us a breakdown and overview of the different branches, the caucuses. The other one is kind of like an overview of our brand guide. Do we know what we're talking about? And okay, the middle one says what we do, and then it's blank. It's giving like we do nothing, but that's not the case. So what I want to do, and this is an idea we spoke about, is kind of create kind of a collage. So if there's anything that you've been a part of in student government that inspires you or that you're proud of, write it down on a sticky note and stick it on there. If you have a photo with you and your fellow SG agents and you're like, we're out here every day advocating for our students and we're really proud of the work we do, stick it on there. So kind of my idea for that is to kind of have a collage with everyone involved, kind of putting different things, and people that kind of visit our office can look at that poster and see from our point of view, our perspective, the things that we do that we feel matter to the students. So definitely start adding some stuff now. Don't be afraid. If I end up feeling like it's not kind of being executed the way I want to, we'll come up with another idea of what we can put up there. And obviously I want to mention, I'm not going to throw away any photos. If you do put them out there and we take it down, I'll give those back. And then finally, my last thing is this Monday, we have our budget hearing with Comptroller Drinkwater. So it's my responsibility for the Division of Comms to present any merch ideas for the year to be approved for funding. So I really want to hear, kind of as my announcement comes to a close, and Chair Courts is going to kind of open up the floor for everyone. I want to hear if you have any ideas for any SG branded merch that we can give out as freebies. So we've talked about making stickers, maybe for your car. We talked about doing hats. We've like in the past, we've done like a plethora of different things. We've done like handheld fans. So as we kind of open up the floor for any questionings, feel free to shout out any ideas you have for, I think we should do this year to like give out to students for freebies, like just any merch at all.
Any questions or suggestions for the Director of Comms? I'll go Banesh, and then Capinos, and then Escobar.
So this is actually a pretty random question, I would say, but if you're trying to film like a TikTok style video, how long would the turnaround be from filming the video to having it posted on the Instagram, if that makes sense?
Yeah, that does make sense. So the thing is, it depends on kind of what the video you want to do. Recently, we did a video kind of talking about CRT and FAO forms. That one, the thing that is hardest about that is kind of getting everyone in the same room. We all have such busy schedules. So it kind of depends on what your idea is. We're also planning a video for the knighting, and that involves different agencies. This is like a 2-week-long process of meeting with these different agencies individually. So if you have an idea for a TikTok that's more lighthearted, that we might have to kind of really like analyze what this idea is. We don't want to offend anyone or make anyone think that we're not serious. But if it's something that's more educational, more informal, that's the first thing you want to figure out is who's involved, who needs to be in the video. And then I think after that, if it's really like heavy in editing, if you want to add graphics, that's going to take longer. But I think the longest part is actually getting everyone together, coming up with a script, shooting. It might take multiple takes and then putting that all together. So I want to say like our video that we did, I sent out an email to everyone and it took a week to figure out a date. And then after that date, it took a week for me to edit and add the captions. And I didn't even have any graphics for that. So I hope that kind of gives you an idea.
I'll go Capinos, and then Escobar, and then back to you.
I have a follow-up as well, Chair, if that's okay. So my first question is, you mentioned the LinkedIn. I was just wondering what the LinkedIn is specifically so that people could follow it. It has like a exec specific or?
It's not exec, it's just UCF student government. So.
Okay. And then my other thing that I wanted to mention is I wanted to give credit to Senator Olivia Smith for coming up with this idea. I was wondering if you'd be considering putting RSOs into like a pamphlet format for designated colleges. That way more students are able to access those RSOs and have like a physical copy versus just having the Night Connect. I know that I was going to speak with the pro temp about this idea first, but I just wanted to mention to you, since you said you have the budget hearing coming up on Monday. And so I was wondering if you consider it something like that, where it would allow for students, I would propose like at opening night to have those pamphlets handed out. And so people could have, a more like physical copy to look at that.
And this is a pamphlet that would literally list every single RSO we have on campus?
No, so the ideas that we had for this pamphlet was to have some RSOs for every college that's on campus.
Okay.
So not all of them, but have like maybe the 5 or 6 main ones. And that would allow more students to see or get engaged with, what other RSOs are part of these colleges, and then other categories as well, along with having a QR code that would connect them to the Night Connect if possible.
Okay, so we can definitely, and I know you're gonna have a meeting to kind of try to figure out the logistics for that, but just some questions, and I would definitely love to be a part of kind of like the planning for all of this, because I would want to know, how do we decide what the 5 or 6 main RSOs are? Is it based on population? Is it based on preference? And then also the thing with this idea too is that I just want to make it super like easy to follow and super accessible to students. So we might have to discuss that a little bit further, but it definitely sounds like a good idea and something that we could do to kind of help the students know more about the different resources they have on campus.
Right. Thank you.
Escobar.
This is more for like suggestions for
Yeah.
like SG like merch or freebies. I think pins are definitely something a lot of students use on backpacks, stuff like that, as well as keychains. And then something else I thought of was like rubber ducks. Different agencies and departments do have their own like little ducks. So maybe like have a duck that had like an SG polo or something like that.
And then back to you, Banesh.
Yeah, I was also gonna make a suggestion. Bobby kind of stole, Senator Escobar also kind of stole one of mine. I was gonna say the rubber ducks. I think that's a really cute idea. But also shirts, everybody loves a cute little shirt. But what I think specifically for the shirts, if we can make them maybe like jersey style, those are very in right now. Like maybe have like UCF, SG, and then like a number, like, I don't know, we were founded in what, 63, put like a 63. I think it'd be cute. People like that.
All right, and then I'll go Senator Green, and then we have to wrap it up.
Yes, I wanted to suggest if we make more stickers, like the kind that you can put on a water bottle or like a laptop or whatever, have them be, or at least have some of them be like vinyl stickers so they won't disintegrate.
Oh, okay,
in
okay,
the
okay.
ink washer.
I see what you mean. That's a really good point.
Because I've done that before and it was not good.
No. And those are so hard too because there's like excess residue. Oh, I'm sorry.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Announcements from the Chief Justice. Chief Justice Pizarro.
Good evening, Senate. First of all, I would like to welcome Texas Tech and quickly introduce the judicial branch of UCF. The Judicial Council is made up of 14 associate justices, 3 of them being a part of leadership, 2 assistant chief justices, and a chief justice, which lead the branch. Some of the services we offer are parking appeals, impartial advising for grade appeals, or student conduct and academic integrity hearings and processes. We also conduct election eligibility and violation appeals, as well as fiscal sanction appeals. I hope Texas Tech has had a fun visit and enjoyed exploring our student government. Besides that, I would like to provide an update to the current website state of judicial minutes and agendas. As you are now able to see on the website, there are sections designed for the general counsel and respective committees, but we still await the upload of the materials. Judicial leadership and I do have a scheduled meeting tomorrow with the webmasters and designers to discuss the Judicial Council's regular and timely communication and collaboration with them. Thank you, Madavi, for helping us set up this meeting. This week, I was primarily working with Lauren Maroon in the Office of the Provost and Executive Vice President for Academic Affairs to provide her and the university with an SG Parking and Transportation 2024-25 student appeals collection to support UCF's compliance with federal regulations and institutional accreditation requirements. Those documents have now been sent over, and to those who are wondering, last academic year, we resolved 25 parking appeals cases. Lastly, judicial leadership continues to work on boarding the rest of our justices and ensuring the proper training of each one of them. I would like to thank both of my assistants for their amazing work these past few weeks, as well as a shout out to AG Altoona for their passion and excitement to learn and shadow our justices connecting their Sky cases. Thank you, everyone, and have a great weekend.
Any questions for the Chief Justice? None. Announcements from the Supervisor of Elections given by Assistant Supervisor of Elections Collazo.
Hi, Senate. So happy to be back. Oh, everyone's like, bye, Texas Tech. I'm just gonna wait. Okay. Hi, Senate. So happy to be back. Unfortunately, not as a senator, but as your assistant supervisor of elections. So unfortunately, Amara couldn't join the Zoom. So here are her announcements. So hi, Senate. I hope everyone had a great 4th of July. I apologize that I couldn't be there today. The Election Commission website is being redesigned. So I'm taking on that project myself. We are redesigning the complete website as we are adding committees. We are having 5 additional committees. So get ready for that. Additionally, the commissioners have completed their ethics training and their ASNF training. The commission is holding leadership retreat on Monday, July 21st, and then our second meeting is scheduled for Wednesday, August 6th. Further details can be found on the SG calendar. And then Supervisor Presley will be on vacation from July 12th to the 18th. She will be in Cancun. So if you guys have any questions, comments, concerns, or anything regarding the commission, please direct them to myself or Brody, and we will be more than happy to answer those questions for you.
Any questions for the Assistant Supervisor of Elections? Seeing none, thank you. Announcements from the Activity and Service Fee Committee Chair, none. Announcements from the Scholarship Committee Chair, none. Caucus reports, Arab Caucus Chair Alcuda.
This week, we had our chair and vice chair elections. So congratulations to Senator Nassim. And we kind of just talked about what initiatives we have and what we'd like to see the caucus accomplish briefly for the rest of the meeting. We also had the pleasure of having DEI coordinator come and sit in on our meeting, which was really amazing. And it was really nice speaking with her. So looking forward to a great year. That's it for me.
Any question for Arab Caucus Chair? Seeing none, congratulations. Sustainability Caucus, Chair Lipner.
Thank you, Chair Courts. We met literally 2 hours ago. I was elected chair, and then Chair Sherman was elected vice chair of the caucus. We're looking forward to continuing our great work and making sure that things are more actionable and impactful this year.
Any questions for the Sustainability Caucus Chair? Seeing none, congratulations to you as well. Announcements from the Senate President. Hello, everybody. I hope your week has been going well. I would like to thank SGA leadership from Texas Tech for being here. I was honored to know that they were interested in watching our Senate meeting. I also would like to congratulate those who have been elected to caucus leadership so far. I look forward to this year, and I'm always happy to be here as a resource. I will extend my congratulations again next week to the rest of leadership who have not yet been elected. Today we'll be holding elections for both ANSF committee and scholarship committee. If you have materials that you would like to submit and haven't, get that to Brody ASAP. SG leadership will be having the first student government executive committee meeting next Thursday at 12:30 now that EC leadership has been elected. And ELA Reed and I had a meeting with Director of Comms IUP yesterday, and we figured out a lot of the specifics regarding our brand, posts, and how we want to go about this year as student government. One of his initiatives was to do weekly tabling as an organization starting in the fall and to alternate between the branches each week. So realistically for us specifically, it would be monthly. And this would be different from the tabling we do as a branch. We would be representing student government, not us as a branch specifically. We also discussed starting an SG member of the month where we'd recognize an agent within the organization each month and give them a spotlight on our social media platforms. So LinkedIn, Instagram, things of that nature. And unfortunately, VP Benitez is not available at the time that works best for the LGBTQ+ caucus, so I hereby resign him as acting chair and appoint myself as acting chair of the LGBTQ+ caucus. If you're in the caucus and plan on running for chair or vice chair, please send me your materials instead of Vice President Benitez. And then finally, I hereby appoint Grace Rudy as acting chair of the caucus leadership committee when it starts. Any questions for me? Seeing none. ILA report, ILA Rudy. I don't think she is here, so I'll say it. I'm out of town this week, so not too many updates from me. I met with the other SGLC coordinators for the first time this week, and we went over logistics for the start of the program. I may be reaching out to some leadership about help for interview for the applicants, but more information regarding that will come out soon. I've also been working on graphic designs that are specifically legislative branch focused for future promotional material. If you have any questions, please reach out on Teams or email. Any questions for the ILA? And I will add, I forgot to say in my announcements for the legislative branch today, I have already rented out the atrium for that from 12 to 3. Okay. And then ELA report, ELA Reed.
Hi, everyone. I have a good amount of announcements today. So as was stated, I had a privilege of meeting with the Director of Communications and Speaker Courts about our graphics and online presence for the year. So the graphic request form is available now, which I posted in the minutes. You will fill that out and it goes to me, and then I will send the completed graphic to the comms team for further review and posting. Graphics for events should be requested to be posted at least 1 week in advance of the event you wish to promote. We don't want to promote it like 2 days in advance, 3 days, the day of, because we want, turnout, we want attendance. So yeah, and the link, like I said, is posted in the minutes. If it doesn't work, just one person tell me and I'll fix it. Additionally, another exciting thing that we discussed was another way for senators to earn points. So each comment on one of our Instagram posts is 1 point, and each story repost is a point. But in order to get this post, you have to send me a screenshot of it through Teams, and that's how you'll be able to get it. Also, as we get more into our events throughout the year, I want to encourage you all to take pictures and videos at the events so we can show off the incredible work that we do. As always, I'm working on the GAP newsletter that will hopefully be posted this week. I've also been working on making new pamphlets for tabling. Also, I have been working on updating all the contacts for the deans because some of the ones that I had were previously outdated. So I'm prepping for our fall dean meetings and reaching out to them as well. Again, if you have not been media trained and you wish to do so, please schedule a time to meet with me. I will be out of town for the next 2 weeks, so if you do need to reach me, I'm still available over Teams. I just might be a little slow to respond, so thank you.
Any questions for the ELA? Senator Benesh.
2, if I may.
You may.
They're pretty short. 1, what are these points for? Is it for like Senator of the Month?
So it was an initiative that was kind of brought up. And so it's basically just like a way to encourage us as senators to, go to our events and be more active in Senate. But if, Speaker
That
Kurtz
will be
wants to-
going live after our Senate retreat in the fall.
That
The
answered my
officers are
other
trying to
question.
figure it out. Thank
Yes.
you. Any other questions for the ELA? Seeing none, Senate President Pro Tempore report, Pro Temp Hamid.
Oh, also, I probably should say the points will determine Senator of the Month, so it is very important that you do those. Anyway, hi guys. So I hope you're all having a great week. So this week I met with fiscal leadership to start making plans for a fiscal workshop for students. We're planning to have 2 sessions on September 3rd, which is a Wednesday. More information to come out about that soon. I also met with D-Leg Kaufman to finalize our fiscal workshop for you all next week. Please go to that. I also started my leadership meetings with committee chairs and vice chairs. Reminder to committee leadership, please find a time to meet with me this month. Also next week, I'll say next week, because either next Tuesday or next Wednesday, but your financial training is due. Please submit your passing scores to me by then, please. Also, I hosted the first Arab and Sustainability Caucus meetings. Congrats to newly elected leaders from there. And if you have any questions, concerns, or want to talk, please reach out.
Any questions for the Pro Tempore? Seeing none, before we go on, there are people in the chat saying that the audio is really low for them. Can we fix that? Perchance. All right. Keep going. All right. Deputy Pro Tempore of Legislative Affairs report, D-Leg Kaufman.
All right, hello everyone, and I heard that Texas Tech is now no longer there, but I cannot see from this camera angle, but hello to them. This week I met with Chair to the Rescue about writing resolutions for initiatives and Pro Temp Hamid about the upcoming fiscal workshop. And speaking of, the Senate Fiscal Workshop will be held next Thursday, July 17th at 5 p.m. This will be a hybrid workshop, both online and in the Charge-On Chamber, and it's for every senator looking to learn more about our fiscal procedures and how you can help represent your RSOs. And I hope to see you all there. Today's legislation, first reading, 1 fiscal bill, 3 internal bills, and 2 resolutions. 2 internal bills and 1 resolution on third reading. And on second reading, we have 4 fiscal bills, 2 internal bills, which one of them was postponed, and 1 resolution.
Any questions for the D-Leg? Seeing none, Deputy Pro Tempore of Senate Relations report, D. Sir Capinos.
Good afternoon, Senate guys. I am so excited to announce our first Senate event. I want to echo my announcement in the teams yesterday, and it's going to be a movie event. It's going to be in the SG office tomorrow from 5:30 to 9. So please feel free to bring any snacks that you like. I know Zach might want to cook up a little something, or if you want to bring, any comfortable clothing, any pillows, any blankets, anything that you see fit for a movie event, I urge you all to come out. There's also going to be a competition and a prize. So even if you come out and you don't want to watch the full movie, I would still come for that as well. And then I also wanted to say that I'm still working on the RSO list along with various trackers for the fall, and hopefully we'll have that information out as soon as possible in the coming weeks. But I do ask that you bear with me, as it's quite an extensive list to go through, and I want to make sure that everyone gets as many RSOs that they are most passionate about as possible. And yeah, I'll just open it to any questions.
Any questions for the D, sir? I'll go Benesh, Lipner, and then Green.
2, if I may.
You may.
What movie we watching?
I knew this question was going to come up. I will get back to you. It's going to be a Disney movie, though. I will say that.
Dang, I was gonna follow up. Can I suggest Love Island?
I will take all suggestions and deliberate at a later time.
Love Island is not happening. All right, let's bring it back. Next question was Lipner.
I retract my question. Dinesh took it from me.
You may. Oh, I thought he said two if he may. Green.
So going back to RSO assignments, if there's a situation where two senators are requesting the same RSO, how would you determine which senator gets that assignment?
That's a great question. So the way that I have it out on my list is if you're a part of the same, let's say the same RSO, and you're in the same RSO and you're a part of the same RSO, I kind of look at the other RSOs that you've requested. So I'll give you an example. I had one senator request only one RSO that she was a part of, and she only wanted that RSO. Whereas I had another senator request the same one, but wanted other RSOs that she was also a part of. So how I went through that is because this senator only wanted this RSO and was in only this RSO, I gave that to her while I could give the other RSOs to the other senator, if that makes sense. So I try to balance it out as much as possible. And depending on how much you requested for, the more you requested for, the more I can kind of look and place people. But I want to try to give everyone an equal amount of RSOs that they've requested. I cannot guarantee that you're going to get every RSO that you requested for, but I will guarantee that you will get at the most as possible. Of course.
Right, any other questions for the DSER? Seeing none. Old business none, fiscal committee caucus time none, fiscal committee reports, CRT committee, Chair Sherman.
Good evening, everyone. This week in CRT, we approved allocations 57, 24, 26, 27, and 28. We postponed allocations 57, 25, and 29. And so far, we have allocated $37,952.66 of our $60,000 summer budget, which is 63.3%. And with 2 meetings to go until the forms close before the fall, we are in pretty good shape.
Any questions for the CRT chair? Seeing none. FAO committee, FAO chair Lusht. Given by the vice chair. Wanjin. Hello.
Wow, thanks. Hello, everyone. He apologizes for not being able to be there tonight. Today in committee, we saw 3 allocations and 3 fiscal bills. We approved allocations 5710, 11, and 12, and passed fiscal bills 5702, 3, and 4.
Any questions for Vice Chair Wanjin? Seeing none. ORS committee, Chair Rose.
Everyone. Today we completed 2 post-funding reviews. Both of them resulted in a sanction, and then we also did 1 verification of purchase form.
Any questions for the ORS chair? Seeing none. Fiscal legislation. Oh, sorry. Go on, Dinesh.
I was just wondering which RSOs got the sanctions.
It was Air Force, ROTC, and Associated Builders and Contractors.
Chair Gaudio.
Pardon my crassness, but where are your committee minutes for the session?
Yeah, those have been forwarded. Those have been sent to the student assistant.
Yes, those were all sent today. Any other questions for the ORS chair? Seeing none. Fiscal legislation, notice of legislation on first reading, fiscal bill 5706 remanded to CRT, notice of legislation on third reading, none. Is there a motion for speeches, questioning, debate? Dinesh.
Motion for a 5-10-10.
There's been a motion for a 5-10-10. Is there a second? Okay, any objections? Seeing none. Fiscal Bill 5702, funding for the American Institute of Aeronautics and Astronautics to host the Rocket Design Project at the University of Central Florida on November 8th, 2025. Chair Gaudio, you have 5 minutes whenever you're ready.
Alrighty, so here, I will pull up the presentation and share it in the Zoom. Give me 1 second. Share. Alrighty. So this funding request is for AIAA at UCF. They are the student branch of AIAA, a very large chapter. They host design projects throughout the year. They host networking events between peers and mentors and just generally promote the field of aerospace engineering. So this particular bill is to request funding for their rocket design project, which will operate during the fall semester. They want to create 20 teams of 4 to 5 people to create and launch a rocket where students will learn how the fundamentals of building a rocket, how to do so safely, and to prepare them for acquiring a level 1 high power rocketry certification. As for their budget last year, here is the budget that they had from last year to show that the numbers they have are reasonable. The quantities being purchased are lower because last year they planned on only 13 teams based off of prior statistics, and they ended up with 19 teams. So the budget has since been expanded. This is 2025 budget. I believe that is everything. I will yield the rest of my time to questions. I will say the RSO officer is present to answer questions. They just did requested that I give the speech.
All right. Are there any questions? Chair Barilla?
Two, if I may.
You may.
How much of the RSO's contribution is going to be factored into donations, like donations from other organizations? I know a lot of engineering RSOs get donations for like bodywork and framework.
For that, sorry, can you guys hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
So are you asking in terms of like in-kind donations with materials, or are you asking like sponsorships with monetary donations?
Both. Any sort of significant sponsorship from an outside organization or any material donation from an outside organization.
Yeah, so for this particular project, we have not gotten any in-kind donations. We haven't in the past. I am trying to get something situated, but I don't think it's going to work out this year. As for monetary donations, we do have the FSGC grant, which is the Florida Space Grant Consortium, I believe is what it's called. And they do give us, I think, around $2,000, and we do split that up amongst our 7 different projects throughout the year. So a part of that money will be going towards rocket design, as well as like the remaining half would be coming from our dues. Those are specifically for rocket design. We do have other monetary donations coming in. However, this year, because of some of our larger projects, we have split up our sponsorships to be project specific. So for rocket design, we haven't gotten anything additional besides that FSGC.
And your second question, Barilla?
It was answered with that answer.
Okay. Any other questions for the RSO? These are Capinos.
Looking at this bill, it says that you anticipate receiving $22,000 in outside funding sources. So I was wondering if that was separate from the dues that active members pay.
No, that would be including the dues. We did have last year a high increase in members. So I believe right now on Night Connect, it does say about 299, but we did see about 400 members last year or more who each paid $30 for the year. So this year, we've already had a lot of people starting to join us a bit more on Night Connect, specifically freshmen. So it looks like we are going to be going up about that high in numbers. So I did plan that $22,000 with the anticipation of having, I believe it was 300 members. So that is included.
Senator Rickett?
Thank you, Madam Speaker. 2 questions, if I may.
You
may. Is the RSO actually planning on firing any of these rockets?
Yes. So we do launch our rockets at SRA, which is in Palm Bay. We do have permission. It's something that the RSOs will often do. So it's not just our RSO, but a few others. And these are actually considered mid-power rockets, not high-powered rockets. High-powered rockets are for the L1 certification, which we do a workshop in the spring. So yes, we will be launching these. That is that November date, at least the anticipated date. throughout the school semester, because this one is specifically for the fall. We'll do meetings once a week to actually construct these. And then at the launch site, we'll put the motor in, get everything together, and they'll be able to launch.
Follow on, Madam Speaker. Okay, does the RSO have, did you all create a risk assessment for any of the safety parameters for this project for the launch?
So typically these things are monitored by SRA, which is it's the organization that runs, I believe it's Space Coast Rocketry Association. So they do have their risk assessments and everything else and make sure that there are a very large committee of people who are there, including firefighters and stuff, to make sure that everything is safe. On our end, our risk assessment is mostly in terms of what can happen while we're building, which the answer is not much because we don't have any active like explosives or materials that can ignite. It's mostly, body tubes and just kind of cutting things out and putting it together. So we don't have something for that. However, if I can find it, I do know that SRA does have an extensive risk assessment because they do have so many people going to launches. So we're not allowed to be within a certain footage from the launch pads. We do have firefighters there all the time. So that we kind of just follow their protocol.
Any other questions for the RSO? Sir Capinos?
I see in this bill that you have the cost allocated for members to fly at our SRA, and that you anticipate having 20 members pay that $10. I also see that the expected turnout for the rocket design project is 80. So I was wondering how you're going to determine the 20 people that were going to fly.
So SRA has a deal with us where they're not charging us per person, they're charging us per rocket. The thing is that because of how they do their program, they just kind of say per person because typically only one person is launching a rocket. So that is 20 people, but it's actually 20 rockets. So we all get to go. I believe they did limit how many people go on the launch pad, but it is still within our limit for each team. So they're allowed to have 5 people help put out a rocket on the launch pad. So yeah, it's just based off the rocket.
Any other questions? None. We are now in a period of debate. Anybody wishing to speak in debate? Senator Lickner.
May I retain?
You may.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I am very much so in favor of this. Everything seems very up to code. I got muted, sorry about that. The fact that they have exactly how many of each supply that they already have and need to complete this project shows that they are in depth and trying to conserve resources wherever possible. And the fact that this is only $2,300 for 20 teams of 4 to 5 people, that impact is hard to beat. So all in all, I'm in favor and I urge you all to do the same. And with that, may I move to vote?
All right, there's been a motion and a second. Any objections? Seeing none, we are now on voting procedures. With a vote count of 32 to 0 to 1, Fiscal Bill 5702 passes second reading. Okay. Fiscal Bill 5703, funding for AIAA to host the Hovercraft project at the University of Central Florida on November 8th, 2025. Chair Gaudio, you have 5 minutes whenever you're ready.
All right, guys. So you might recognize these people from the last bill that we just did. It is the same group of people now for the Hovercraft design project. Woo! So this is a semester-long project where students primarily learn how to use CAD software, designing their own hovercraft for use in competitions. It can be things like jousting or what was the thing that got done last year? I forget.
The obstacle course.
Thank you, an obstacle course. And so it is a very introductory, particularly towards freshmen. And it is relatively inexpensive. They're requesting $272 for 8 teams of 4 to 5 people. Here is their budget from last year and the current year. with that, I will yield.
We're now in a period of questioning. Are there any questions? Deezer Capinos?
I have a question directed to D-Leg, if that's okay.
You may.
Forgive my ignorance, but this bill is requesting for $271 as the total cost. And I was just wondering why it wouldn't be under a an allocation.
So they have actually maxed out their allocations. They received $3,700 via FAO allocation 57006, and they can only receive funding from FAO through bills. So that's why they're requesting a bill.
Any other questions? Seeing none, we are now in a period of debate. Anybody wishing to speak in debate? Chair Hernandez?
This makes total sense. Move to vote.
There's been a motion and a second. Any objections?
There's an amendment.
Oh, okay, perfect. I will not be seeing that motion. Whose amendment is that? Kaufman, you have 2 minutes.
It's just fixing the total cost. I missed it in committee today, but it's just putting the total cost on there.
All right. I will see that as a technical. Is there a motion?
Move to vote.
All right, there's been a motion and a second. Any objections? Seeing none, we are now in voting procedures. With a vote count of 36-0 to 1, Fiscal Bill 5703 has passed second reading. Please try to be a little quieter with the chips. Okay. All right. Fiscal Bill 5704, funding for AIAA to host the quadcopter design project at UCF on November 8th, 2025. Chair Goddard, you have 5 minutes.
Hey guys, you may know this RSO from the past 2 fiscal bills. So this is for quadcopter design, thank you. So very similar to hovercraft design, this is a semester-long project where the participants learn how to design and build a quadcopter from scratch. And they get to go out to this fly day at the end of the semester. They do what's called buddy boxing, where we have a AMA certified pilot who goes out and basically controls the FPV drone with them. And so they can fly their own drone too. And it's all safe and certified, and it's great. They're requesting $450 to run the project in the fall semester for 8 teams of 4 to 5 people. Here is the budget for this year and the budget from the last year. I will now yield my time.
We are now in a period of questioning. Any questions for the RSO? Seeing none, we are now in a period of debate. Anybody wishing to speak in debate? Lipner,
Mayor Tim?
you may.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Once again, this seems like a really great opportunity for a lot of students to get hands-on experience for a very cheap cost in terms of Senate. I'm all for this. My only request is that the RSO brings the coolest ones to Senate so we can go look at them whenever these design competitions are done. With that, may I move to vote?
There's been a motion and a second. Any objections? Seeing none, we are now in voting procedures. With a vote count of 35-0 to 1, Fiscal Bill 5704 passes second reading. Weiderberg, I saw your hand up.
Oh, sorry, that was an accident.
Oh, no, you're good. Fiscal Bill 5705, funding for 46 members of the UCF Society of Women's Engineers to travel to the WE25 Society of Women Engineers National Conference in New Orleans, Louisiana from October 23rd, 2025 to October 25th, 2025. Senator Ali, you have 5 minutes whenever you're ready.
So I apologize for not communicating with this week. But I can talk about the conference that they're going to. So during this conference, the members of the Society of Women Engineers, they try to talk with the recruiters from the different companies, attend their workshops, and try to develop their professional skills. And it will be beneficial for all of the members to go to this conference, which happens every year at different locations. So yeah.
Okay, Delia Kaufman.
I was just going to mention that the RSO is present in the Zoom
Well, if
to speak.
is to add more, they may.
Hi, thank you. Thank you for introducing us. Just wanted to add that the We25 is the national conference. We send members every year. This year we're taking 46 members, which is the largest group we've ever taken, in celebration of our 50th anniversary as a UCF RSO. The presentation was sent, and I'll mention that we have 2 financially trained officers. We have no international students attending. We are aware of the post-funding process, and I'll yield the rest of my time for questions.
All right, we are now in a period of questioning. Any questions for the RSO? Chair Barella?
Yeah, what hotel or lodging chain are you using? And was there any circumstance that caused it to be that expensive? Because that, in my knowledge, is pretty expensive for hotel rooms.
Yes, so the Society of Women Engineers website hosts the hotel rooms. So we chose based off of that. We tried to choose the cheapest. Of the options, it is New Orleans. So we are staying in the Sheraton, New Orleans. We will have 12 rooms.
Any other questions for the RSO? Chair Gaudio, and then Senator Benesh.
How will you be selecting the members that will go on this trip? And do you have an idea of what the class standing distribution might look like?
Yes, so we actually have already chosen our attendees for the conference. Every active member had the opportunity to fill out an application at the beginning of the summer. Our members were chosen based off member involvement to both our club and the UCF community, responses to the questionnaires we had, as well as enthusiasm to represent UCF at the national conference. I don't have a breakdown of exact grade standing right now, but I do believe it is primarily juniors and seniors, with the rest being sophomores, and we do have 1 graduate student.
Benesh. Move to debate. There's been a motion to move to debate. Is there a second? Any objections? Seeing none, we are now in a period of debate. Anybody wishing to speak in debate? Chair Hernandez.
I said it in committee and I'll say it again. It's a great opportunity for these women and women in engineering move to vote.
There's been a motion to move to vote. Is there a second? Any objections? Seeing none, we are now on voting procedures. With a vote count of 36 to 0 to 1, Fiscal Bill 5705 passes second reading. Internal committee caucus time, internal committee reports, ENA committee chair Escobar. Given by Vice Chair Chow.
Good evening, Senate. Last meeting, we were just working on Title VI in terms of ideas on how to reformat it and also organize it to make it more readable for those who are trying to run for the next election and just making it accessible overall. And not only that, but we went ahead and discussed some ideas for internal bills.
Any questions for the Vice Chair? Seeing none, GAP Committee Chair Varela.
Hi, Senate. Today in GAP, we went over the next iteration of the GAP newsletter and continued to work on the legislative priority survey. As always, if you have any news stories you wish to be included in the GAP newsletter or want to collaborate with GAP, please don't hesitate to reach out. And finally, me and Speaker Courts are working on getting tabling supplies for GAP, including mini Florida flags, mini American flags, and pocket constitutions, which I am super excited about because I think that's super cool stuff to hand out, especially the constitutions. I think you should all have a constitution on you. It's very important.
Any questions for the GAP chair? Senator Benesh.
What type of stories are you looking for the GAP newsletter? Like more national things? Like, just wondering.
Anything that can be relevant to a student. It could be on the GAP newsletter. I'm sure Eli Reed can go more in depth on this. We have a federal section, state section, local section, as well as university and UCF section. So really, any piece of news that you think applies to the student body, you can send it in.
ELA Reed.
Not a question, but a statement.
You may.
Mostly if I really prefer nonpartisan news. And yeah, like Chair Varela said, anything that does really focus heavily on student impacts. So that can be anything from, you know, hurricane preparation. And I know there's going to be a story going up about Orlando passing out sandbags to community members, or it can be, you know, we have another piece that's going in about the big beautiful bill and how it will impact students directly, but in a nonpartisanship way. So anything like that.
Any other questions for the GAP chair? Seeing none, LJR committee chair Gaudio.
Good evening, folks. Based off our when to meet, the committee's fall meeting time will be Wednesdays at 2 p.m. So if you're interested and can make that time, feel free to join. I have also personally recently gone through some of the university archives to get a better understanding of our historic statutes to further refine how our modern statutes can be refined. Oh, incredible writing there, me. As for business, our votes were as follows. Sahasra Satvika for July 10th, approved 9-0-0. Arwa Ali, July 3rd, approved 9-0-0. Kushi Chauhan, blanket excuse for initial roll call in the summer, was approved 9-0-0. As for bills, Internal Bill 5706 was passed 8-0-1, and Resolution 5703 was passed 8-0-1. We also voted to sponsor legislation amending Title VII, which will be submitted by our vice chair within the coming weeks. This week's snack was banana bread.
Any questions for the LJR chair? Seeing none, SBA committee chair Teodorescu.
Hello, Senate. This week in SBA, we went over individual initiative progress as well as updating the concern forum on Night Connect. Now that caucuses are starting up, I, along with other SBA committee members, will be attending each meeting. So we will be popping in there just to kind of introduce ourselves and what we can do for the caucuses. I also met with Dila Kaufman to discuss writing legislation. But besides that, have a great weekend.
Any questions for the SBA chair? Seeing none, confirmations, none, internal legislation, notice of legislation on first reading, Internal Bill 5707 remanded to ORS, Internal Bill 5708 remanded to LJR, Internal Bill 5709 remanded to ENA, resolutions. Chair Gaudio.
I would like to move to suspend the rules such that Resolution 5704 may instead be remanded to ORS.
5704, correct. There's been a motion and a second to suspend the rules and send Resolution 5704 to ORS. We are now in a period of debate. Does anybody wish to speak? Pro Tem Hamid.
So for more context, this is like basically putting fiscal stuff into the Senate rules. And I agree that LGR might not be the best fit for this just because they don't focus on fiscal procedures at all. That is an ORS job. And so I think that this makes sense to do.
Right, Trey Hernandez.
People in internal committees avoid joint to avoid physical. Move to a vote.
Okay, there's been a motion to vote and a second. Any objections? Seeing none, we are voting on this motion. With a vote count of 35 to 0 to 0, Resolution 5704 will be remanded to ORS instead of LJR. Oh my gosh, me when I did seconds right. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Okay, Resolution 5705 remanded to LJR. Notice of legislation on third reading, Internal Bill 5703, updates to Title IX, addition of disciplinary appeals. Vice Chair Wanjin, you have 5 minutes whenever you're ready.
Basically, it has not changed since last week. For anyone who wasn't here, this just adds required disciplinary appeals to statutes. They are required by Florida statutes and have been for several years. And I want it to be done now. So yeah, I yield my time.
All right, we are now in a period of questioning. Any questions? Chair Barilla?
Move to debate.
There's been a motion moved to debate. Is there a second? Any objections? Seeing none, we are now in a period of debate. Chair Hernandez?
Seeing this as this was passed unanimously last week, can I motion to approve this by general consent?
There has been a motion to approve this by general consent. Is there a second?
Seconded.
Any objections? Okay, this has been approved by general consent. Yay. Okay, Internal Bill 5704, updates to Title III, updates to media training. Pro Tempore Hamid, you have 5 minutes whenever you're ready.
All right, hi guys. So nothing has changed since the last time we saw this, but for those of you guys who were not here, this just removes the 10-day or 10 academic day requirement of having to do media training. This changes it from a requirement to an encouragement that you do it. However, it still keeps the caveat that if you want to do any interview representing student government, you have to be media trained, and it requires that media training will be offered at least once per academic semester. So I yield the rest of my time.
We're now in a period of questioning. Senator Rickett.
I move to the previous question.
Oh, okay. There's been a motion to move to vote. Is there a second? Any objections? Seeing none, we are now in voting procedures. With a vote count of 33 to 0 to 1, Internal Bill 5704 passes third reading. Next, we have Resolution 5702, updates to Senate Rule 2, adding the Sergeant of Arms to the Senate Executive Committee. Pro Tempore Hamid, you have 5 minutes when you're ready.
All right, hi guys. So based off last week's discussion, I kind of just want to bring something up. So our Sergeant at Arms is an elected senator. He represents the Rosen College of Hospitality, and he is also confirmed by Senate. I feel like that is an important point to mention. But as a member of the Senate President's office, I do believe that it would be important for him to be a part of the Senate Executive Committee, especially with his role in Senate. With that, I yield the rest to questioning.
We're now in a period of questioning. Chair Varela.
This is a question from my own ignorance. Is there explicitly stated in statutes that they're a part of the Senate President's office, or are they simply appointed by the Senate President?
I believe it says that they are part of the Senate President's office.
It does say it. That was an update that was made by the LJR committee last year. Any other questions? Senator Benesh.
Move to debate.
There's been a motion moved to debate. Is there a second? Any objections? Seeing none, we are now in a period of debate. Chair Gaudio, and then Senator Benesh, and then Chair Hernandez.
I spoke at last week's meeting, but I will reiterate my points. I do not believe that this resolution should pass, as the Senate Executive Committee encompasses all of the leadership roles of Senate, and Sergeant at Arms is not a leadership position. They do not lead a committee. They do not lead SLC or organize dean meetings. They sit at the front of the room and enforce order as the speaker delegates to them. The sergeant does not have autonomy that other roles have, and so being on the executive committee, the chairs represent their committees. The speaker represents their office, and while the assistants are there, they have duties that necessitate that. The Sergeant at Arms does not stand for that because, again, their position is entirely at the discretion of the Senate President and what their idea of the decorum of the meeting is. And so I just do not see why the Sergeant at Arms should be added to the Senate Executive Committee.
Banesh, and then Chair Hernandez.
I agree with Gaudio. I don't think that this is necessary at all. Yeah, I encourage y'all to vote in negation.
Wow. I have been absent every time it's been voted on, but I see no harm in adding them in. Just to I see the pro tem's office being more of a leadership take on just because they are not all sound committees. And it's just for me, it's I don't see no harm in them being part of it. Yes, they do represent what decorum is in the Senate President's eye, but also in their own eyes. So it's I don't really know, see no harm.
Corolla.
Yeah, I think I'm generally against this legislation. I thought more about it between last meeting and this meeting. I voted against it last meeting. I think I voted against it today too, because I tend to think of the Sergeant at Arms as a position that begins and ends within the chamber. I don't really think that their job is in the chamber and they don't really have a job outside the chamber, at least my understanding of the position when we debated it last session. So I think that if you give them a spot on the executive committee, it would kind of be an implicit granting them of authority outside the chamber, which I don't think is proper for the Sergeant at Arms position.
Okay, with 3 in negation, are there any others in affirmation? Rickett?
Madam Speaker, move to vote.
There's been a motion to vote. Is there a second? Any objections? Seeing none, we are now in voting procedures. Okay, with a vote count of 16 to 19 to 1, Resolution 5702 fails third reading. Ready. Notice of legislation on second reading, bills, Internal Bill 5705, updates to Title 12, minutes submission deadline, Senator Barnes, postponed committee, Internal Bill 5706, updates to Titles 1, 4, and 10, elimination of Title 10. Chair Gaudio, you have 5 minutes whenever you're ready.
Hello, folks. So what this legislation seeks to do is essentially remove Title 10 as an independent title and incorporate it into primarily Title I, with the primary reasoning being that Title 10 is an incredibly short chapter. It is under a page, but it outlines the most important part of our statutes, that being the basic minimum eligibility requirements to be a student government agent and how you can appeal those processes. And so for those requirements to be placed in the 10th statute does not particularly make much sense to me, when we could just as easily put it in the first title, which is also very short in its own respects, and it's right there. The actual text is unchanged. I have not altered it whatsoever beyond the presidential term limits. Instead of those being in what would be Title I, they will instead be put into Title IV at the very top, so that anyone who wants to know more about the presidency, it's right there. I weighed putting it in other titles. Title IV just made the most sense. I proposed this to the Attorney General as well, and he liked it for the sake of helping narrow down the statutes, keep them compact, but also keep compact and efficient. I will yield the rest of my time.
We are now in a period of questioning. Are there any questions? Seeing none, we are now in a period of debate. Any pieces of debate? Senator Banesh.
May I retain?
You may.
Looks pretty good. I feel like this makes a lot of sense. Title 10 is really short. I just looked. Move to vote.
There's been a motion to move to vote and a second. Any objections? Seeing none, we are now in voting procedures. With a vote count of 35 to 0, Internal Bill 5706 passes second reading. Resolutions, Resolution 5703 updates to Senate Rule 3, removing the voting rights of the supervisor of elections or their designee, Pro Tempore Hamid. You have 5 minutes whenever you're ready.
All right. Hi, everyone. So this resolution is removing the voting rights of the supervisor of elections or their designee from the E&A committee. So for context, this was added in the 55th session. The main reason I'm looking to remove this is because we as senators are elected by students to represent them through our votes on legislation. The supervisor of elections is not an elected SG agent, and their purpose is not to represent students. Their purpose is to oversee the election commission and make sure we have a fair and transparent election. Due to this, I see their role in E&A as more of an advisor. They should be encouraged to give their input on certain things that would affect them and the commission. However, I do not think that they should be able to vote on legislation. For that reason, I put this legislation forward, and I yield the rest of my time.
We are now in a period of questioning. Are there any questions? Seeing none, we are now in a period of debate. Anybody wishing to speak in debate, I will go Banesh, Gaudio, Reed.
I'll actually be voting in negation of this bill. I feel like even though the supervisor of elections is not an elected title, I do feel like it's very pivotal sometimes for them to vote on certain pieces of legislation and whatnot. And of course, they don't even really have to vote. So I'm voting in negation, and I encourage y'all to do the same.
I'm very much in favor of this amendment, as the voting rights of the supervisor of elections gives them an obscene amount of power with regards to legislation, because no other student government agent holds a vote in any facet of the Senate. Only the supervisor gets a vote in E&A, and it is very, very powerful. The supervisor, this bill would still grant them debate rights to speak their mind and represent the election commission in an E&A meeting, but the actual voting on the legislation should remain within the Senate and free from, I suppose, inside influence from the supervisor of elections.
Capinos? Oh, Reed, sorry.
It's okay. Yeah, I'm going to have to vote in favor of this bill. I do echo the sentiments of the previous senator, and in addition to that, I don't believe that it would take away any type of. I mean, it would take away a lot of power that the election supervisor would have, but I think we could still get like important input from the supervisor and assistant supervisor, as we did in the previous session where we would ask questions during the meeting to the supervisor of elections. And I think all that is very helpful without having to grant them voting power, but instead being more of like an input themselves. And for that, I don't see the reason that they need voting power. So I'll be voting in favor of this bill.
Senator Lipner?
May I retain?
You may.
Thank you. I'll also be voting in favor. Anytime that I see the supervisor of election wanting to vote on a bill or some kind of legislation, I would expect them to honestly abstain because of their relation to what they would probably be voting on. And so I'm very happy to see them relegated to simply debating and speaking their mind and still being able to get that justification without actually dipping their hands in the pot. And so move to vote.
There's been a motion to move to vote. Is there a second? Any objections? Seeing none, we are now in voting procedures. With a vote count of 32 to 2, Resolution 5703 passes second reading. Okay. One second. What did you say? All right. Is there a motion to move to miscellaneous business? Is there? Oh, wait, I made that motion. Okay, great. So we're doing elections for the ANSF Budget Committee and the Scholarship Committee. I'm sure you guys read if you're going for it, you've read the duties within Title 8. At least I hope you have. So is there a motion to open nominations? Any nominations? Gaudio?
I would like to nominate myself and Vice Chair Wanjin.
Okay, Vice Chair Wanjin, do you accept?
I do.
All right, ELA Reed?
Am I able to nominate for the scholarship committee?
Not yet.
Wait, okay.
Senator Green.
I would like to nominate Chair Sherman. Oh, whoopsies.
Chair Sherman, do you accept? Okay. Oh, yeah, you are. Wow. Senator Lipner,
I'd like to nominate myself, please.
you may. Anybody else? Chair Sherman?
I'd like to nominate Daylight Kaufman.
Dela Kaufman, do you accept?
I accept.
Anybody else? Vice Chair Jones, you may. Alrighty. Anybody else? All right, so we are gonna keep the 5-10-10, but how it's gonna work is the questions have to be for all of the candidates, and you guys each have a minute to respond whenever the question is answered. Gadia?
When will we be doing elections for the alternate seat?
It's all right. Brody, do you have something to say?
We were trying to get all the names down. Please just take a look. If you were nominated and you don't see your name, add your name.
All right, and then I will add a little bit more. Like I said in my announcements, there's 3 seats and an alternate seat. The way this works is you each have 3 votes. So whenever we're getting to voting procedures, you pick the 3 people that you want. And then it's ranked choice, right, Brody? So it's not the first 3.
It's not ranked choice, but you get 3 votes.
Okay.
If anybody receives a majority, they are elected.
Okay.
If not, we continue the process.
Yes. And then after that, we do for the alternate seat.
Once the election for these 3 seats is done, we will then have the election for the alternate seat.
So I suppose Vice Chair Wanjin, you have 5 minutes whenever you're ready.
I did not want to go first. That's fine. Good evening, Senate. For anyone who I haven't yet had the pleasure of interacting with, my name is Katrina, and I would love to serve as one of the 3 ANSF senators at large for this session. This would be my 4th time serving on the Budget Committee, where I started off as the alternate in the 2021 academic year, the Budget Committee Chair in 21-22, and most recently had the opportunity to serve as Budget Committee Vice Chair last year. I'm intimately familiar with the activity and service fee budget, not only due to attending the entirety of budget hearings all 4 years I've completed at UCF, but also thanks to my experience as part of different positions I've held within ANSF-funded entities, including Knights of the Round Table and Alternative Break Program, which is a lesser-known portion of Volunteer UCF. This familiarity with agencies and their budget makes it easier for me to connect with other agencies, something that is very useful when supporting agencies throughout the budgeting process, a key role of the members of the Budget Committee. While I do not have a personal agenda going into Budget Committee as far as specific areas I think should receive more or less funding, because I feel that it is necessary to take an unbiased approach to serving on the Budget Committee in this way. There are several areas that the committee will need to focus on in order to effectively and efficiently put together a budget for the 26-27 fiscal year. First, and most important, I would like to urge the committee to continue placing a cap on the official request an organization may make for budget hearings based on the budget information that is given to us in October. To elaborate slightly, this would mean that we would compare the recurring budget in the upcoming year to the current one and cap an entity's request proportionally, keeping every entity's maximum request proportional to their current share of the budget, with a wish list page available for any requests above that official cap. We instituted this policy last year and used it in a slightly modified form when I was Budget Committee Chair, and I believe this directly contributed to the hearings only lasting a day and a half when I was chair, and we were dealing with a massive 13.74% cut to the total budget, and shockingly ending in only 1 day last year. Additionally, I'd like the committee to seek out student input on the budget and put together ways for students to be more informed on the budget, both using social media and attempting to offer events for students to come ask questions and generally gain a better understanding of the process and the budget itself. With that, thank you. I hope you vote for me for this position, and I yield the rest of my time.
Okay, Chair Gaudio, you have 5 minutes whenever you're ready.
Thank you very much. So I do not have a long storied history of sitting on fiscal committees like many of the other applicants do. I'm the chair of the Rules Committee. I've sat on LJR, I've sat on ENA, I've been the GAP and the SBA rep. However, where I make up for that is I have sat on the other side of much of what ANSF does. I have written budgets for RSOs. I sat on ANSF, a couple ANSF meetings last year. I see what people use and what people don't use, both within my college and without. And I want to make sure that all of the money that we allocate is going to people who are going to use it. And oh, I'm stuck. I didn't think this far ahead. My apologies. That's really what it comes down to, because that's who we're here for, the students. We have departments to run. We have agencies to run. We offer employment opportunities for a lot of students, including people in this very chamber. And we have to keep an eye on things such as the minimum wage increases. How can we keep employing all of these different students while still maintaining our budget without going into the red? How can we potentially stretch our money even further, as stretched thin as it already is? Those are questions which I want to bring forward as someone who has not sat on fiscal committees on the SG side, but has sat on the RSO side of things, on the organization, and in seeing where is this money going, where is it being put to, and what more can we do with it? I will yield.
Senator Lipner, you have 5 minutes whenever you're ready.
Thank you, Chair Courts. I'm sorry, Speaker Courts. Bear with. Can you guys still hear me?
Yes.
Perfect. Hello, everyone. My name is Jordan Lipner, and I'm running for the at-large seat for the ANSF Budget Committee because I truly believe that every dollar of student money should be spent in a way that is fair, transparent, and directly benefits the diverse students who make up our campus community and pay the ANSF fee to begin with. The ANSF Budget Committee oversees how millions of dollars in student fees are allocated and funds everything from student organizations to campus services. This is one of the most impactful committees in student government, and I'm running because I believe that we can do an incredible amount to support the committees and communities on campus, not in just how we fund, but why we fund. As a current student government senator who has sat on the last session on the CRT committee and chair of the Sustainability Caucus, I have led efforts to advance environmental justice, social equity, student engagement, and efficiency here within student government. I've also helped organize Florida's largest student-led protest for education within the state, worked on public policy campaigns that passed by referendum within Miami Beach, and trained hundreds of student advocates across the state on how to support that role. In every single one of these roles, I focus on 3 main things: policy-driven solutions, community impact, and responsible use of resources, which is exactly what I feel this committee demands. If elected, I want to bring clear and actionable policies to the table to ensure our budgets reflect the values of equity, sustainability, and transparency that I aforementioned. First and foremost, I want to create a community impact assessment for large budget requests, to require that all large funding requests above a set threshold includes a small standardized impact statement, which answers how many students will this serve? Will this program serve historically underserved or underrepresented students? And how will this funding contribute to long-term benefit for the student body as a whole? Because this ensures that funding prioritizes programs that reach more students, promotes inclusion, and offers lasting, sustainable value, and aren't just one-off events for limited audiences and wasting our money. Next, I want to implement an equity of access funding principle, where we advocate for a baseline percentage of ANSF funds each year to be allocated to small and emerging RSOs, not just the largest or loudest groups, programs that serve non-traditional, commuter, transfer, and first-generation students, and events that promote mental health, accessibility, and inclusion, because this will prevent budget decisions from unintentionally favoring established organizations while newer or under-resourced communities continue to get left behind. And finally, I want to launch a sustainable spending policy, something which, if you've listened to me speak within Senate for any amount of time, you probably understand is very core to my true values. I want to propose that all ANSF funded purchases, where feasible, follow a sustainability preference, which includes reusing event materials and purchasing reusable event materials for future events, having eco-friendly supplies and giveaways, and support for zero waste and carbon neutral events wherever possible. And last but not least, I think it all wraps up with student transparency and feedback mechanisms. I really want to take the students' values into concern and publish a survey similar to what GAP does in terms of the day at the Capitol, but looking at how they want their funds to be spent and where and why. All in all, I'm running because I believe putting students first is our clear goal as student government agents, and I want to make sure that every single dollar we spend reflects our values and serves the students who need it the most. I'm ready to bring my policy experience, my committee to equity, and drive for results to the ANSF Budget Committee, and I humbly ask for your support. Thank you.
Dela Kaufman, you have 5 minutes whenever you're ready.
All right, good evening, everyone. I've been looking forward to this election all session, so I'm super excited to be in the running tonight. I won't repeat myself too much from my DLEG confirmation speech a month ago, but as you can see on the poster that I made in the election materials that I sent to Brody, which I'm not sure if is on the agenda yet, I want to reiterate my love of fiscal and my passion to constantly elevate the work I do. I was the FAO chair in the last session, meaning I was automatically placed on the ANSF Budget Committee, and I thought it was super interesting how the committee worked to properly allocate all of the funds for the year. This year, I would be honored to attend these meetings again to continue the great work from the last session. I've loved being so involved in the fiscal side of student government. Having sat on fiscal committees since SLC, I have been around many great people who have taught me everything I could know about our policies and procedures. I've given a finance code presentation to the SLCers last session, and as you know, I'm working towards next week's fiscal workshop. On top of that, I'm also the treasurer for the Project Spotlight RSO I work very closely with. If elected to this committee, I would hope to bring some new ideas so that things could work even smoother than they have in the past, although it will be hard to beat a one-day budget hearing like last year. A big initiative I have is to combine outreach with gathering information for the committee. On top of wanting to table as a committee so that we can ensure students understand where their ANSF funds go to, I would also like to survey students on potential additions to our ANSF funded entities in our non-recurring funds. This data could be used by the committee to determine how the non-recurring budget gets allocated. Listening to the UCF students and getting the committee known will set us up for success moving forward. I'm constantly looking for ways to go above and beyond with the work that I do, and I believe this is a great step in that direction. Thank you all for your consideration. I would love to receive your vote for this amazing opportunity, and I yield the rest of my time.
Vice Chair Jones, you have 5 minutes whenever you're ready.
Hello, everyone. I'm Victoria Jones. I'm a current sophomore majoring in journalism. I was part of the SGLC program and SLC last year. I am a new senator, but I'm looking forward to learning more about the funds that we allocate and how that budget is made. I'm currently a part of 2 fiscal committees, ORS and CRT. I'm a CRT vice chair and went into this with very little experience, but having attended just like a few meetings during my time in SLC and SGLC. But I ran for the sole purpose of wanting to learn more about the fiscal process. I'm very interested in all things fiscal, and I want to grow as a senator to be able to represent my constituents in the best way possible, with the most knowledge that I can have. I see how the ANSF budget truly affects the student body and the student government agencies and departments that it benefits, and I want to be a part of that process. Thank you for your time, and I yield the rest of my time.
Okay, we are now in a period of questioning. If you have any questions, make sure it's relevant to all 5 candidates. You guys have 10 minutes. Chair Hernandez and then Banesh.
Can each of you name one duties of the NSF committee?
We will go down the line: Wanjin, Gaudio, Lipner, Kaufman, and Jones.
To create the budget request packets.
They are responsible for reviewing the ANSF budget and submitting it to the Student Body Senate.
Gaudio took mine, but I'll come up with another one real quick. The ANSF committee will work with the student government agents and other committees on campus to ensure that they are spending money wisely and plan for future years.
To write all proviso language that governs the ANSF bill as a whole.
To make sure that funds are being spent properly. They also try to meet with the student government comptroller or the person that's the head of the business office to see if they have like any concerns with any finances.
Right, Banesh?
What traits or experiences do you think make you most qualified or prepared for this position?
Right, and then, yeah, we'll just keep going it that way. You go, Wanjin.
Okay. I've been on the committee 3 times. I've served as chair and vice chair, so I think that makes me uniquely qualified. I also think my roles within agencies mean that I'm very familiar with this process from both sides. I helped Volunteer UCF write their budget request for the last 2 years, and I'm familiar with how stressful it is from both sides for the budget committee as well as for agencies themselves.
I served as a project officer for AIAA UCF. You might recognize those people from the last 3 fiscal bills we saw. where I was responsible for writing my project's budget as well as helping write other projects' budgets. I was a treasurer for the International Relations Club, and I'm the chair of the LJR committee. I have an eye for detail, for reading through all of the vast quantities of information and understanding what does everything mean, where is everything going to. So just that understanding both on the
30
large scale
seconds.
and the small scale.
30 seconds left. Okay, great. Lipner?
Yeah, I served on the CRT committee for the last session. Throughout that session, I was very vocal about making changes to the committee budget and how that money is allocated. I was one of the primary individuals who was involved in changing the allocation numbers to be more equitable and fair for students. I am also very active in policy and community organizing, allowing me to have great experience working with a large amount of different types of people from different areas like the RWC versus the ANSF committee and office themselves. Yeah.
Hey, Kaufman.
I'm really big on collaboration. I love listening to what everyone has to say and then using what we can as a group to really come up with the best way to move forward. And also just my general, I guess, knowledge of our fiscal procedures, having been, as I said, the FAO chair, and also remaining in the positives the entire session. So that was good.
Jones.
Okay, so I'm in the ORS and CRT committee. I'm also vice chair of CRT. This is going back, but in high school, I was the treasurer of my school's National Honor Society. But I think I just bring like a fresh perspective, just something new. Yeah.
Any other questions for these candidates? Seeing none, we are now in a period of debate. You guys have 10 minutes. Only do not put down any of the candidates. All right. Banesh.
Well, dang, I wasn't gonna roast them or none, but
I didn't mean to look at you.
I'm like, dang, girl, not that mean. But I just want to say, all the candidates, you guys are extremely adorable, and I love all of your answers. With that being said, I think my 3 votes, right? I think those will be going to Wanjin, Lipner, and Kaufman. I just believe that these people are uniquely qualified or provide some type of perspective that I think is really needed in ANSF. And yeah, I encourage y'all to vote them as well.
Chair Varela and then ELA Reed.
Yeah, this may want like be specifically about like you should vote for this candidate or this candidate. I just kind of want to I guess let the Senate know that during ASNF you are kind of taught a lot of the major processes. So I guess I'll be debating for Senator Jones then, because I remember last session we had Senator Sherman who came here as basically his first Senate meeting ever, and he got elected to ASNF committee miraculously, I will say. And and look where he is now. He's now the chair of CRT. So I would say don't be afraid to elect new senators. I think it's really important to give new senators opportunities, especially the ASNF, someone who's so fiscally interested. I think it can be really good for their future Senate career.
ELA Reed.
I first want to say that I think we're so lucky because no matter who gets elected, these are all great candidates and bring so much to the table. But I will say my big 3 are probably going to be Wanjin, Kaufman, and Jones. I think they all bring such strong and unique perspectives to fiscal allocations and to the budget as a whole. And I believe that they are very, very strong candidates and are very, I can always lean on these individuals to talk about fiscal or to trust their opinions when it comes to any type of fiscal budgeting, bills, things like that. And for those reasons, I will definitely be voting for these individuals. But like I said, I believe that all of these candidates are more than qualified for these positions.
Anybody else wishing to speak in debate? Chair Sherman and then Chair Escobar.
Yeah, I'll be speaking in favor of Vice Chair Wanjin, Delay Kaufman, and Vice Chair Jones. First for Wanjin and Kaufman, as Senator Varela said, or Chair Varela said, I was elected very, very early on to the ANSF committee, and Wanjin and Kaufman were both great resources for me. And especially on a committee such as ANSF, which has a lot of turnover like year to year. I think off the top of my head, only myself, Hamid, and Rose are like returning out of the 16 people. So I think it's super important that we do have experienced senators in the at-large season. That's what I think Wanjin and Kaufman represent. Kaufman especially has been a great resource for me, even outside of ANSF and CRT, very fiscally knowledgeable. And Wanjin, of course, her experience speaks for herself, or for itself. And then Jones, of course, my vice chair, so I have to vote, debate in favor of her. I do see a lot of myself in her, obviously running early on for ANSF, and she's definitely shown a willingness to learn and to grow fiscally. So I'll be voting in favor of Wanjan and Kaufman because of their experience, and then Jones because of the fresh perspective and her willingness to learn.
Chair Escobar.
I will say the candidates before us are all very qualified, and we do have great candidates to choose from. The ones I'll be voting, I'll be debating in favor of will be Chair Gaudio and Delia Kaufman as based on their initiatives. I did enjoy both of their initiatives and what they would bring to the ANSF committee and what they could bring out of it as well. So I'll be voting in favor of them and encourage you all to do the same.
Cesar Capinas.
Move to vote.
There's been a motion to vote. A second. And there's been a second. You guys got to get better at that. Any objections? Seeing none, we're now on voting procedures. How does that work? They vote for the first person, then the second, and the third?
No, so you will be able to vote multiple times in the poll. So cast your 3 ballots all at the same time. It will let you vote as many times as you want to. So please don't select more than 3. That would be very frustrating. And I might just say your ballot's invalid. You don't get to count. I don't know if I can do that, but I might. Make 3 votes. If you only want to support 2 candidates, that's totally fine. You don't have to vote for 3, but you cannot vote for more than 3. Okay, here it goes.
Okay. 22 out of 36, that's also majority, correct? The majorities. Are those majorities? Oh, wait, yes, they are. I'm so sorry, guys. I promise I'm smarter. Okay. So Kaufman, Wanjan, and Jones have been elected to the ANSF Budget Committee. Senator Fawcett? Senator Fawcett, present voting, so noted at 7:51 p.m. And now we will reduce speeches, questioning, and debate for the alternate seat for ANSF. So Lipner and Gaudio, are you both still interested in that? Real. So
Yes, I am.
Gaudio, you have 5 minutes whenever you're ready.
You've already heard my spiel. I'm not going to go into that whole thing again. My conviction remains unwavered. It's just now I would only be able to do it if someone else is not present. But I still feel strongly about the position. That's why I'm still continuing to run. I will yield the remainder of my time.
Lipner?
Yeah, I mean, regardless of what happens here, I plan on sitting on these committee meetings regardless. I was listening in virtually last year, and I plan on doing the same if I cannot be an in-person member. I urge you all to vote with your conscience. I just want to say that I will be putting our students' values and impact at the very forefront of my thoughts whenever I make these decisions.
All right, we are now in period of questioning. Are there any other questions for these 2 candidates? Dinesh? There's been a motion to move to debate, and it's been seconded. Any objections? Seeing none, we are now in a period of debate. Anybody wishing to speak in debate? Varela?
Move to vote.
There's been a motion to move to vote, and it's been seconded. You guys got to stop letting Wanjan beat you like that. Any objections? Seeing none, we're now on voting procedures. Alrighty. I have such a good joke right now, but I said that we'd be serious during Senate business, and if I hold you guys to that standard, I have to hold myself to the standard. Alright, with a vote count of 29 to 6 to 3, Gaudio has been given the ANSF Budget Committee alternate seat. Congratulations. Now we move on to the Scholarship Committee. Is there a motion to open up the floor for nominations? Are there any nominations? Chair Hernandez?
I would like to nominate myself.
Okay, you may. ELA Reed?
I'd like to nominate Chair Varela.
Do you accept, Chair Varela?
I do.
Senator Benesh?
I'll nominate myself.
Alrighty, any other nominations? Let me exit this out and make sure there's no hands raised. Senator Lipner?
I'd like to nominate myself, please.
Alrighty. Vice Chair Chow?
I'd like to nominate myself.
Okay, and then Senator Gaudio.
Nominate Chair Tudorescu.
Do you accept? I do not. Alrighty, great. Any other nominations? Seeing none. Oh. Pro Tem Hamid.
Motion to amend the speech time from 5 minutes to 3 minutes.
There's been motion to amend speech time from 5 minutes to 3 minutes. Is there a second? Alrighty, any objections? Seeing none, speech time has been amended to 3 minutes. So Trejo Hernandez, you have 3 minutes whenever you're ready. I will be giving a 30-second warning.
Hello, y'all. For those who don't know me, I'm Daisy. But a big backstory about me, I'm a first-gen college student, computer science. More perspective about me, throughout my time in college, I've loved talking to my classmates, even though they don't want to talk to me. And through this perspective, I've got to meet and talk to a bunch of students and plenty from outside the traditional college experience. It's like, oh, I'm here just for college and all of that jazz. And others who are here like, yeah, I'm here, but I have to get a job. And my old roommate and several other old roommates who said, yeah, to work during college, and some who have to get 2 jobs just to like be able to afford to live here. And with that, I think with that, and also like relying on scholarship so much, very much recently, I bring more towards a perspective, like we really have to justify the scholarships and help we give our students, just because it's like, yes, we're students, but at the same time, not all of us have the luxury to just be students, because I've also met people who cannot afford to live in Orlando and have to commute like 2+ hours just to get to classes, and some who have to choose between, oh, do I live here or do I like take a semester off? And with that, I just kind of bring in like all of those like people who I've met and who I may no longer talk to just because we lose like touch. And that perspective is Scholarship Committee, and that's why I hope you vote for me. Thank you for my time.
Varela, you have 3 minutes whenever you're ready.
Hello, Senate. I'll keep the speech brief. I wish to be part of the scholarship committee because there needs to be a stronger voice for transfer students on the committee. As a transfer student, the goals I hold closest to my heart have to do with fulfilling the needs of UCEF's vibrant transfer community, which makes up over half of the student body. The number one concern I get from transfer students is a lack of scholarship opportunities. For those of you who don't know, incoming transfer students get a fraction of the scholarship money that incoming first-time in college students get, which creates massive financial burden for many transfer students. I hope to advocate for the creation and strengthening of transfer student-oriented scholarships by the committee. I can also use my extensive connections with the transfer student community to advertise any new transfer-oriented scholarships created, as well as any scholarships that the committee creates that are relevant. For most transfer students, any sum of money, even just to buy textbooks, will pay dividends to the well-being of our school's transfer community, which is why I want to have a place on the scholarship committee.
All right, Benesh, 3 minutes whenever you're ready.
Hello, everybody. My name is El Benesh. A little bit about me. I've been in Senate for a year. I'm part of the College of Sciences. I'm a pre-med student, and I'm a low-income first-generation student. As you guys may know, I've volunteered at places such as Knight's Pantry. I've volunteered for the Crisis Text Line. I believe that we really need to help people, especially low-income students, pre-med students, grad students, and people who may have mental health issues. Especially with the big, beautiful bill that just recently got passed by the House of Representatives, I feel like it is essential to provide students with the money that they need to go to college. I know so many students, listen, even myself, now that the Pell Grant may be, a little bit uncertain, now that Medicaid is going to be stripped from millions of people, I believe it is pivotal to provide these students with that financial support that they need to continue with their college experience, because why should it be hindered just because of the administration that we're currently under? I think you guys would agree, so.
All right, Lipner, you have 3 minutes whenever you're ready.
Alrighty, thank you, speaker. First and foremost, thank you all for hearing me out today. Um, I'm running for this seat on this committee because I believe that scholarships should be open doors for every student, no matter their background, income, or identity, but should specifically uplift students who are not given the same opportunities as others, focusing on equity, not just equality. Right now, Florida law makes it harder than ever to directly fund scholarships that specifically support minority, LGBTQ+, and international student communities. And recent restrictions on diversity, equity, and inclusion programs mean that public universities, and by extension, student governments, can no longer legally offer scholarships that give preference based on race, ethnicity, gender identity, sexual orientation, or national origin. But that doesn't mean that we have to give up on serving the communities that have always faced the biggest barriers to higher education. In my experience, I have seen that students need to be supported. And time again, I have fought for vulnerable communities by hosting walkouts, by creating protests, and passing policies, agendas for many organizations within the state of Florida. Because I understand that political roadblocks and legal oversight can be dealt with without losing sight of our values. If elected, I want to bring that same determination to the scholarship community by first redesigning scholarships to serve underrepresented students in a legal manner. While we can't legally limit scholarship-specific identity groups, we can focus on students who are first-generation college students, come from low-income backgrounds, have overcome adversity, or demonstrate leadership and diversity, inclusion, or community service at large. These kind of criteria are legal, fair, and will naturally uplift the students who need help the most, including students of color, LGBTQ+ students, immigrants, and more. Second, I want to create new scholarships through private partnerships because while state funds are restricted, private donations and partnerships are not. I want to work with our university's foundation and external organizations to explore privately funded scholarships that can legally be targeted towards specific marginalized communities. Next, I want to protect international students who have been recently under fire from many different angles. Many international students face unique financial barriers and limited access to aid. I want to advocate for a scholarship model that focuses on global engagement, leadership, and academic excellence, criteria that international students often meet and exceed, and won't violate nationality-based restrictions. And finally, I want student-driven priorities. This may seem obvious, but in practice, it's very difficult to nail down. So I would like to launch a student priority survey to hear directly from students about unmet needs and work toward building scholarship models that reflect the diversity of our campus and challenges that our students make and face. Frankly, I understand that I'm not going to see every single challenge from every single student, but I'm willing to step into this role with open ears, open eyes, and an open heart to listen to every student, have empathy, humility, and understanding. Scholarships can and must remain a tool for equity, even when the legal landscape shifts, and I will ensure that the awards we give out will still reflect our university's diversity, uplift those who are historically excluded, and protect students who need financial support the most, while also strictly following the legal guidelines that bind us. I'm ready to do the research, draft the language.
Senator Lipner, your speech time has elapsed. Okay, perfect. Is he muted? Okay, Senator Chow, you have 3 minutes.
So good evening, everyone. My name is Ni Chao, and I'm running specifically for the scholarship committee. I'm actually a student who is heavily reliant on these scholarships, and I want to return this back to my community. I actually had initiatives surrounding, becoming a part of the scholarship committee in order to return back to my community. And I'm actually a student who's from a minority, first generation, have immigrant parents. So I completely have like the spiel of understanding how important fiscal and just having these scholarships are for students. I do want to state that not only am I going to represent represented communities, I also want to represent satellite campuses who may not have as much opportunities compared to the main campus students. And then not only that, but I also want to not only represent underrepresented communities, but I also want to represent the general populace. I do know that when it comes to FAFSA, when it comes to middle-class students who are unable to qualify for FAFSA, but they're also unable to pay for their tuition, it's extremely difficult for them to win these scholarships. I've heard many experiences from my previous job, and then not only that, but from the roommates and people that I know who had difficulty paying for their tuition. So not only am I going to ensure that with the criteria criteria of these scholarships, that it's going to be reasonable, it's going to be designated to certain populations and certain groups and communities, but I'm also going to ensure that for general scholarships, that they're reasonable and that we can stretch our dollar thin for every student in our community so they can pay to go to college. Not only that, but when it comes to the application process, I'll make sure that it is extremely reasonable, that once again, that these students are not wasting their words when it comes to applying for these scholarships. So even though I do not have fiscal experience when it comes to, the scholarship committee and how I would be able to benefit with that, I can assure that with my passion as a student who has utilized these scholarships before to pay for my tuition, and then not only that, but the experiences of other students as well, that will be a great help to this committee. Thank you, and I yield the rest of my time.
Okay, we're now in a period of questioning. Again, make sure that your questions are relevant to all 5 of the candidates, Vice Chair Wanjin and then Chair Gaudio.
Are you aware that by serving on the scholarship committee, you are ineligible to receive student government sponsored scholarships?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, I never received one, so I'm good.
Yes.
Yes, that's exactly why I'm actually going for this committee. I completely acknowledge that because I want to get back to my community, excuse me.
Chair Gaudio.
Sitting on the scholarship committee, what thought will you give towards underrepresented demographics that people tend to think less about, such as international graduate students, transfer students of any caliber, but especially those of the graduate variety? What thought will you give to those when coming up with scholarships in this committee?
And we'll just continue going down the line. So Trejo Hernandez. I think it's just more so communicating with the graduate students to understand what are their needs, because the needs of grad students vary from, oh, I need scholarship money to attend this conference, to I need graduate scholarship money to help pay for my rent because they moved here from another country. And so because of rise of the cost of living in Orlando is like rising every year. So it's like, oh, I need just money just to pay for groceries. Like, I think it's just meeting them in the middle and just hearing, understanding what they need from us.
Yeah, as the former chair of the Intercampus and Transfer Caucus, a large part of my job was advocating for minority groups that weren't traditionally recognized as minorities, such as transfer students, commuter students, nursing students, as me and Senator Green worked very closely on. So I would take all this knowledge I've learned to then incorporate that into the scholarships, because again, I think these students also need financial help.
Like I said in my speech earlier, I will really take a big focus on graduate students just because I know how hard it's going to be trying to get those loans and whatnot, following the big, beautiful bill. And y'all know I love to talk and love to do outreach. So I will definitely reach out to graduate students, see exactly what they use these type of funds for. For example, if they're using loans to get their groceries, if they're using loans just to pay their tuition, et cetera, et cetera. I want to see, what they're using that money for, how much money they're using on average, and oh my God, you messed me up. And I just want to, see what they'd be using that money for and plan accordingly for these scholarships, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I think you've really identified a very important problem that we want to address as a scholarship community. The issue of intersectionality is extremely huge and should be addressed through scholarships, especially when individuals are seeing multiple hardships laid on top of one another. Something like an international student who is also a graduate student who is losing funding due to some odd reason. And I would love to create scholarships to support those individuals specifically, but at the same time, I will consider how niche those things are. I don't want someone who, a scholarship where a single person or 5 people apply. I would like to see scholarships that have a decent number of individuals apply to those scholarships in order to have the best individual chosen by the committee, which is not us.
So yeah, thank you for that question. I definitely think it's quite saddening to see how graduate students and international students simply aren't given enough allocations when it comes to scholarships, especially since they are probably these students who are in most need when it comes to paying for their tuition. So I definitely like to address those specific concerns. And then not only that, but also explore how these, how are they able to see like these financial like scholarships? How are we able to reach out to them more? And then not only that, but explore specifically, like previous senators have said, what they utilize this money for in terms of funding to see how much aid we can give to them and once again for their education.
Senator D and then Senator Rickett.
I know some of you have addressed this, but how will you guys like work on outreach and letting people know that these scholarships are out there for them?
I think a lot of outreach would have to be dependent on like, for us it's like the Instagram, but also with like emails, just because like if we want to like get into contact, especially with like grad students and international students, Instagram is probably, they may or may not have Instagram or check it so often that they see that. And as well as like reaching out with like different I'm trying to think like the grad studies like school and the dean to be like how it, like what is the best way we've come and you
30 seconds.
contact these students and etc.
Yeah, at least for me, I'm super I'm in super deep with the transfer environment, and also me and Senator Green have worked on nursing, so I hope to have his help to expand nursing scholarships. And I know personally, whenever I talk to administration, whether it be Rosen, downtown, any sort of community administration, transfers, nursing too, they're all crying out for scholarship opportunities for their students. It is a massive, like they understand the financial burden of their students, and they are usually unable to provide. Right, so just letting the administration know that hey, there's new scholarships, and they will more than happily
30 seconds.
disseminate those scholarship opportunities.
This is about outreach. Raise your hand if you saw my face during the Senate elections. Exactly. Outreach is not going to be difficult for me. I find myself very annoying, and I love to reach out to different communities, trying to figure out what exactly their needs are. So outreach will not be a problem for me at all. I'll also try to connect with the Director of Communications IUP as well as ELA Read and try to figure out how we can get these things out on our Instagram, out on our LinkedIn, you know, just advertising everything as effectively, as efficiently as possible. I'll also like to talk to building managers as well in different buildings around campus, such as the RWC, the Student Union, and talk to them about putting up posters, flyers, and other informational materials about these scholarships, if that makes sense.
I mentioned in my speech a survey for students to fill out to tell us exactly what they're needing and what they're missing. But beyond that, if you've seen me around campus or were a student government agent last year, you'll know that I get my TANs by tabling. I tabled a lot at Market Wednesdays and will continue to do so for the Sustainability Caucus, and would love to table for the Scholarship Committee as well.
So I think that's a great question, actually. So other than Instagram, and then not only that, but mass sent emails to every student, I actually have a similar idea compared to the legal studies department, where they actually have a course where students can enroll themselves into. And then not only that, but announcements can be sent to inform students of specific department scholarships, where students can be more inclined to sign up for those scholarships, especially since they believe that they have a better chance of applying for them. And then not only that, but we can also have a mass specific like Canvas course for all students, so they are aware of the general scholarships that are opened up, especially since every student uses Canvas. So I think that would be a great idea and also quite easy.
Senator Rickett.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. First of all, to all the candidates, I really do thank each and every single one of you for bringing up graduate students. We are really underrepresented, and it's great to actually hear you all kind of giving precedence and kind of giving attention to the graduate students here at UCF. My question is to each of the candidates. The College of Graduate Studies gives millions a year in fellowships. Can any of you name or give me a number on how much money we actually give, the College of Graduate Studies actually gives to students each year?
I'm not aware, but I find that not pertinent either.
Yeah, I don't think that question is very pertinent to the scholarship committee in SG. Senator Banesh.
Move to debate.
There's been a motion to move to debate, and it's been seconded. Any objections? Seeing none, we are non-debate. Again, I'm not going to look at Banesh. Do not put down anybody. Chair Gaudio.
So there were really two candidates that really spoke out to me on a personal level. I've seen the work that Varela has done for other campuses. I know the passion he has for transfer students and students on other campuses, and we need to keep those students in mind as they are underrepresented and in need of those scholarships. They are a minority demographic of student who needs that help and are often forgot about in representation. But on the topic of representation, the only candidate to have discussed graduate students at all in their speech was Banesh. Graduate students are just as in need of these. Their tuition is higher. And while there are assistantships offered to many graduate students, there are many who are not, especially with all of the government cuts that have recently hit and caused a lot of contracts to be canceled, including many within my own department of mechanical and aerospace engineering, a department that many see as getting those infinite federal grants. I've also seen her work as boots on the ground. I first met her before I even got confirmed in the Senate because she was working the desk at Knight's Pantry. She's a kind soul. She thinks about the needs of every student, puts in the work as an active part of the community to uplift people. If anyone should be on this committee, she should be the first. I'm also voting for a third person.
All right. Anybody else wishing to speak in debate? Let's see. Oh, Chair Escobar and then Senator Fawcett.
Well, I do think this is a very tough decision because all candidates have good initiatives that they're bringing, as well as they're all qualified. We've seen their work in student government and outside of student government. I'll be strongly encouraging everyone to vote in favor of Senator Banesh. The initiatives, the passion, and everything they've spoken about today just really spoke to me. Um, as for my other votes, I'll have to say my Vice Chair Chow. She also had really great initiatives and perspective. And then for my third vote, I am still deciding, but I encourage you all to vote in favor of who you believe spoke and will do the best in these positions.
Senator Fawcett.
So I will be brief because haven't picked my second and third, but I will definitely say as a graduate student myself, I definitely will be voting in favor of Banesh. I can tell you from personal experience, I do have a fellowship that pays for my tuition and my GTA, but I had to leave my job. So if I didn't have a husband at home making a second income, the money that I get from UCF would not be enough. My funding for next year was in question because a lot of our fellowships in grad school come from federal grants that are now being cut. So I literally had to go and beg for my money for next year, like to make sure I could actually continue in my program. So graduate students do face a lot of cuts in funding. And so, the fact that being one of the few graduate reps in Senate, I really do appreciate that we are being considered along with all the other amazing groups that need to be focused on as well. So I will be voting in favor of Banesh and two others, and I encourage you to vote for her as well.
Senator D.
I think all of these candidates are great and all the answers that they provided were good, but I will be voting in favor of Varela and Chow. For Varela, it's because I also know someone who was a transfer student and she had to move back to our hometown because she couldn't afford to stay here. And she was working like almost every day in order just to afford rent, and she couldn't even attend classes. So just for her to know about like these scholarship opportunities, I think really would have helped her in staying here at UCF. And then also with Chow, I think the outreach idea is amazing because again, there's people who just go class to class. They probably won't, they're not really interested in tabling. They just want to go like class to class. So I think like the Canvas idea is great. So yeah, I encourage you all to vote for them as well.
Senator Green, and then D. Capinos, and then ELA Reed.
Yes. So while y'all were giving your answers to the various questions asked by the Senate,
Make sure debate is directed at the chair.
Oh, forgive me. Yes. While they were giving their answers, I was taking notes, and I will say I will be casting my vote in favor of Varela and Banesh, and I'm undecided on my third. So for Varela, I really do like the work that we did back in the 56th session in relation to the College of Nursing, but also just to the larger transfer and intercampus community in general. And then for Banesh, I will concur with my other senators. I love that you mentioned graduate students, especially since they are so heavily, oh my God, I did it again. Sorry. Because graduate students are so heavily dependent on federal and other government sources of funding.
Glad you caught yourself that time.
Yeah.
District Pinos.
Motion to vote.
There's been a motion to vote. Any objection? Seeing none, we are now in voting procedures.
As a reminder, just like last time, you vote 3 times. Please don't vote more than that, because I'm going to assume you all did it right. And if we have to go back tomorrow or Monday and be like, oh, they did it wrong, it's going to be a real problem for me. So just vote 3 times or less, but no more. Thank you.
Right, with vote counts of 5 to 32 to 36 to 9 to 24, Varela, Banesh, and Chow have been elected to the scholarship committee. Congratulations. Is there a motion to move back to Senate deliberations? Oh, yeah, I'm so sorry. Okay, raising the ANSFB, I'm pretty sure that's Trey Hernandez. If you want to start that conversation for Senate deliberations, it can only be one topic, and you guys are maxed at 20 minutes.
I don't got speed in me, but the average for in the state is 1511. We're at 1187. Max we can raise like 180. It would be great if we can get that conversation going, just because it's like with all this talk about money, and especially when we go back to, I don't know, a lot of you are very young, but very back when we had stuff like all night study and like the Eredivisie like up at Plaza, stuff like that had to be cut because we didn't have money, and we could do more stuff if we had more money.
Banesh and then Wanjan.
So, okay. I actually think that raising the ANSF funds like fee would be a good idea, especially because now we're raising out of state tuition. So I'm not really sure how that works, but if we can get the conversation going, I don't know. Really? They did raise out of state tuition though, but that's my point.
All right, we're still in official, we're still in
my fault.
Formal. Okay, perfect. Wanjan?
Hi, I could give a whole speech on this topic. So raising the ENSF fee is a huge process that requires like the student body president and the university president to create a committee that suggests to, I believe, board of trustees and then the board of governors. Board of Governors is involved, and they're the problem because DeSantis won't let them raise fees, period. The only way basically we could possibly raise ANSF at this point in time is by lowering something else. My target has always been athletics because I personally think our athletic fee is too high. However, UCF likes athletics, and athletics would be mad if we tried to lower the athletics fee. Generally, this concept has been brought up for a couple years now. I explicitly discussed it at Day at the Capitol a couple years ago with the chair of the Board of Governors at that time, as well as the student body president and vice president at that time, and the newly elected student body president and vice president. And it was you can try was basically the answer we got. So this is definitely a conversation that needs to be held with higher administration if we want to actually try to further pursue this. Shane, in my past conversations with him, did not have positive expectations of it happening. I believe it was on Lucy and Jarabe's platform this year to at least talk about it, but it is far easier said than done, and the process requires a lot of political stuff that we do not have the power to do anything about, and it would require way more lobbying of administrators and people at the state level for anything to happen. Just want to give all that context.
Senator Lipner and then Chair Gaudio.
Yeah, I just kind of want to reflect on what Vice Chair Wanjin just said and kind of agree that it may be difficult in today's political climate as a result of a number of things, but mostly the fact that Florida is trying to promote cheap and affordable college as a large draw for out-of-state and in-state people to go to our colleges and maintain that or reduce that brain drain that they're seeing. And so all in all, I think it'll be a really tough hill to climb.
Chair Gaudio.
So I've done a little preliminary looking into this. I've looked through the statutes, and the $1.84, $1.84 is how much we can raise it for, right? So the concern was, tuition, especially for out-of-state students, is already going up. Fees and tuition are unrelated, and so lifetime 120 credit hour program raising by $1.84, assuming we even did the max, right? That is a whole $220.80 more across an entire 4-year program. In the grand scheme of your tuition, that's kind of a drop in the bucket. And these sorts of movements, they do take a lot of political steam. It is a very intense process to try and get one of these fees raised. It's actually good that athletics fee was brought up, because one of the restricting factors is in Florida statutes, your health fee, your athletics fee, and your activity and service fee are all related. Collectively, they cannot be 40% more than the base tuition, which is like $100-something. Point being, they are linked. It is a lot of moving parts, but in order to get that conversation, there has to be a strong political push. And so I think that if we all collectively agree that, yes, we really, really need to do this and push out, I don't know what it would be, resolution, proclamation, whatever, and have people working to try and push through, even if the odds of it getting through are slim is not zero. And as long as there's a non-zero chance where, so our current budget for ANSF, last I checked, I think it was like 19-something million dollars. $1.84 raise would net us an extra like $2.5–3 million. Think of what we could do for students with an extra $3 million. I think that alone is enough reason to want to at least try, no matter how slim the odds are.
Senator Benesh. Move to advisors report. Okay, there's been a motion to move to advisors report. Is there a second? All right, any objections? Seeing none. Okay, before we get there, guys, it's been a long meeting. Breathe in, breathe out. We can all let loose, have fun now. We're out of Senate business. I can make my joke now before we get to advisors report. Whenever they were talking about, like Sherman was new last year, I was like, oh yes, our fresh blade. Oh, sharp blade, sorry. I apologize. Okay, and if you don't know, I have the video. Advisors. No.
Please no.
Okay, advisors report, Brody, if you can speak.
Hey, y'all, not much for me. If you reached out to me this week and you didn't get a response until today, I apologize. I've been sick, as you can hear. So thank you for your patience. Let's do some senator shoutouts. We got some time.
Hey. Sorry, I didn't know my.
What? All right, senator shoutouts. Benesh, go.
Shout out to everybody and shout out to Senator El Benesh's bed, because that's where I'm gonna be after this.
Okay. Halima.
Shout out Delia Kaufman for keeping his camera on every single Senate meeting at 24/7. We really appreciate your work and your service. Also, congratulations on getting ANSF chair seat and everyone else who got seats as well.
All right. Matthews.
Wait, did you say Matthews?
Sure did.
Oh, sorry. Okay. Shout out to Senator Jones for getting elected. So proud of you, my fellow SLCer.
All right, Anna.
Okay,
shout out to everyone who ran for the budget committees. Congrats on putting yourself out there. I think you all did wonderful. Congrats to us because we rocked. Yeah.
Right. James.
I want to give a shout out to Senator Olivia Smith. I was in a meeting with her earlier today, and she was working on her initiatives with the director of court. And so for her to have that meeting initiated all on her own, I think that that's like a big feat, you know, with her being a new senator. So I just want to give her a shout out and just praise the good work that she's doing.
Jones.
Okay, shout out to everybody who got elected into the ANSF Budget Committee and the Scholarship Committee, and shout out to like just everybody that ran. I want to do a special shout out to Senator Sherman. I decided to run mainly from watching the video from last year. Just the courage that he had, I really admire that, and I look up to him. He's just a great CRT chair, so yeah, shout out.
All right, Zach.
I love my LJR committee. You guys are great. You're phenomenal. I'm looking forward to having you guys in the fall when we do in person. It's going to be great. You're all amazing.
Katrina.
Senator Jones, even though she never pronounces my name right, you're good. Congratulations on being elected to the budget committee. I'm so excited to serve with you. My last name's Wanjan. I don't know how you pronounce it, but it's never right. And Gaudio for being elected alternate. I'm so excited to see fresh faces. Kaufman, you're cool too, but you're not a fresh face.
Yeah, your face is old. All right. Anna.
I want to give a shout out to AG Altoona for always being here. That's my diva.
All right. I can't forget people on Zoom. Bobby.
Shout out to my ENA committee. This week we had 10 pages of discussion, so y'all are great. Keep it up.
All right. James.
I want to give a shout out to John Grouse. I think you've been here every Senate meeting. The only other student out of the Senate body, so congratulations. Thank you.
Well, Jordan's there now, so I got to do Jordan.
Was it me? I'm just gonna assume it was. I was gonna shout out Speaker Courts and Vice Chair Wanjan for the seconds. You guys are both doing wonderful. Thank you for carrying that.
Yeah, Jason.
Obviously, shout out to the new ANSF and scholarship members. Congrats! It's really exciting to see new people joining it. Also, obviously, shout out to my deputies. Oh my God! Also, Ryan always having his camera on, and oh my God, Jimmy in person again. Love to see them so much. Also, obviously, shout out to the assistants, and also shout out to everyone. And also, thank you guys for coming in person today and wearing your shirts. That was very nice of you guys. I also want to take a picture before we leave because I don't know when we'll all be in our shirts again.
Yeah, JC. I can't not now.
I want to shout out Madavi for putting out the voting record so fast because like they get out so fast. I'm always so impressed. It's very impressive.
And for the record, if there's ever a delay where it doesn't come out for like 3 or 4 days, that's because I haven't sent the data to her. So that's if there's ever a delay, it's definitely on me. Yeah, Terry.
Does it have to be Senate related?
No.
Okay, I'm gonna humble shout out myself because I defended my comp exams yesterday and I am officially a PhD candidate instead of a student. So
We are all about self shout outs, of course. All right, Kirsten.
Do you guys ever like feel like such an immense like prehistoric amount of rage? Oh. Okay, you try having your hand up and he's just staring at you the whole time. Anyway, that's why one of us is sick and the other one's not.
Oh.
Anyway, shout out to all of my senators. I love this session so much. Like, you guys are all so fun. It's just like there's so many new senators, so many new faces, and it's so fun. And I am so happy that you guys have really respected my want to keep, like, whenever we're doing Senate business, to stay as professional as possible. And I think it really works if we're like fun at the end, even though one of us is always struggling and it's me, you know.
All right. Carson.
Okay, thank you, Senator Fawcett, because you gave me the courage to also humbly shout out myself. 2 weeks ago, I got accepted into nursing school.
Yeah, Kirsten.
Yeah, I forgot my two specific ones. Shout out to the new chairs, Lipner and Alcuda. I am so happy to see the senators in caucuses and in leadership.
All right, Olivia.
This has been such a cool week in Senate. I love seeing all the new people elected to the chairs and everything. It's just so cool. So you guys are doing great work, all of you.
Love it. All right. See no more. Thanks.
None from Madavi. Already done the elections. Resignations. I hereby resign Christopher Corelli from Senate. I hereby resign Sahasra Satvika from the APIA caucus, and then I hereby resign Jordan Metellus from the ENA committee. Appointments. I hereby appoint Jordan Metellus to the SBA committee. Who did this? Hamid's fabulous, fashionable, fearless, fierce, flabbergasting, fire, fresh, featured force. Who did that? Who did that? Who made that noise? Don't do that again.
I feel like I'm being gaslit. What was that?
Yeah. What was that? What do you
It sounded so much like audio.
It did. And I looking at God, he was like holding his
Yeah,
ear.
I'm sorry. I know it wasn't you, but it sounded like it was you. Who did that? Okay, you know what? So who made this name? Because I love it. Oh my God, guys, I love the name. Okay, I'm going to give it 9.67. I know. Okay, so I actually wrote this down. Guys, this okay. Honorable mention, I'm going to give it to Madavi. Okay, third, I'm going to give it to Jorge. Because different shirt than us. Okay, now the rest of these are really hard because you guys have such different outfits on today. And like, it's, I'm sorry, you scared me. Okay, so I'm going to give second tied both to Fawcett and Corson, obviously being a PhD candidate officially, and also getting into nursing school. I feel like the aura is it's scholarly. Okay. The first one's really hard. Okay. I'm gonna give first place to everyone.
Yeah, no. So
the vote was won.
I will not be seeing that motion. What? Who said that? Alrighty. Oh. You know what? I'm feeling very kind today. And I haven't seen Banesh in like a year and 2 years and 5 years, you know. Sorry, that sounded better in my brain, Banesh.
You're seriously so cute, you guys. A motion to adjourn pending final roll call.
There's been a motion to adjourn this meeting pending final roll call. In a second, we are now, no, I'm joking. Any objections? Seeing none. Chair Gaudio.
Luke Paul.
Present.
Anna Reed.
Present.
Olivia Smith.
Present.
Angelia Varghese. Gabriel Casimiro. Christopher James Kapanos.
Present.
JC Lim.
Present.
Haswa Sadvika. Jonah Scott.
Present.
Yi Chow.
Present.
Blake Barnes. Owen Sherman.
Present.
Danae Smith.
Present.
Arwa Ali.
Present.
Melva D.
Present.
Jason Hamid.
Present.
Ryan Kaufman.
Please. pass.
Present.
Nicholas Lucht. Jordan Metellus.
Present.
Kai Prohl.
Present.
Peter Rocasa.
Present.
Samuel Rose.
Present.
Grace Rudy. Daisy Trejo Hernandez.
Present.
Terry Fawcett.
Present.
Nathan Rickett.
Present.
Here, Kushi Chauhan. Bobby Escobar.
Present.
Ibrahim Nassim.
Present.
Rose Rodriguez. Katrina Wanjan.
Present.
Ella Weiderberg. Orson Green.
Present.
Diana Wynn. Accidentally scrolled down. There we go. Anthony Bonaventure. Veronica Perez.
Present.
Halima Alcuda.
Present.
Al Banesh.
Present.
Jocelyn Candeloro. Kirsten Courts.
Present.
Victoria Jones.
Present.
Angelique Leon.
Present.
Abigail Matthews.
Present.
Ella McRae.
Present.
Matthew Nursa Madevra.
Present.
Cameron Renda.
Present.
Mariah Simmons.
Present.
Milo Tudorescu.
Present.
Juan Varela.
Present.
Julia Zivin.
Present.
Jordan Lipner.
Present.
44 out of 54.
All right, before I adjourn, if you're coming to Jimmy's movie night tomorrow, starting at 5:30.
Yes.
Alrighty. I would like to reduce the amount of people banging on the door because they can't get in, like to 0. So just text me or Teams me when you're here.
And then also, if you want to help me set up, I will be there around 4:30.
Ready. So I hereby adjourn this meeting.